Goddamn.
Man, what is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing here today on this Friday for your 252nd edition of the news, man? How is everybody doing here today on your Friday evening, man? Welcome, like I said, to episode 252. If this is your first time watching and you guys do not know how the show works, every Monday we are on here after Monday Night Raw with NHP Unscripted, and every Monday we're on here with NHP Unscripted after Monday Night Raw. Every Friday we are on here with the news at 4 p.m. Central, man. If you guys did miss this past Monday's edition of Unscripted, that is episode 200 and... Ooh. Wow, I've really lost count now. Are we up to 233? Okay. I was going to say, we're not up to 250s on Unscripted. Okay.
I was thinking about news, my bad.
Yeah, 233. If you guys did miss episode 233 of Unscripted, that is another unpredictable WrestleMania season. You guys can watch that now on all platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and if you want to see it first, join us right here live every single Monday after Monday Night Raw for NHP Unscripted. Also, I know you guys know this already, but if you guys did just so happen to miss the Royal Rumble 2025 review, you guys can watch that on all platforms as well. Yeah, man. Also, if you guys haven't got a chance to get your hands on some of the official NHP merchandise, you guys can now find this live on the merch shop. That is bonfire.com. Link is at the top of the description of this very video, where you can get this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful redesigned, remastered, rejuvenated piece of the Next Chapter merch. Like I said, bonfire.com. Link is at the top of the description of this very video, man. You can get yours today. Also, if this is your first time watching and you guys do not know who we are here at NHP, I am Johnny, one half of the host of this very show. And as for the other half, we got my man Sir K here. How the hell are you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Just been chilling out, man. It was a good week. And just moving things along, man. And I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Just waiting for Chamber. I guess I can say I'm waiting for Revolution. I mean, besides the main event so far, I think. Yeah, I don't even know yet. Probably not, but we'll see when we get there. But definitely waiting for Chamber. That looks very exciting. And I'm doing good, man. Like Durante always asks, how's life? How's the family? Life's good. Family's good. How is everybody doing in the live chat? How's everyone doing watching the replay? What about you, bro? How are you doing?
I am doing good. Besides Gmail notifications completely blowing up my phone for no important reason. Other than that, I'm doing good. I am doing good, man. Just chilling, bro. Just chilling. Yeah, same as you, man. Getting ready for Elimination Chamber and getting ready for Revolution. I hate that the AEW pay-per-view is the second one. I always like when WWE ends it in terms of those double weekends, because usually the AEW weekend always ends up worse. However, you could definitely tell WWE tried to strategically put the Elimination Chamber Revolution weekend, because I guess historically speaking, usually the first, it usually would be the first weekend in March, but AEW, we brought to you guys a couple weeks ago, AEW is trying to nip that in the bud, so that's why they're not releasing their whole pay-per-view schedule, because they know they will get slaughtered. However, yeah, excited for that, and yeah, just pretty chill, bro. Pretty chill week. So yeah, that's about it, dude. That's about it. That's about it for me. But as Durante always asks, I'm good. Family's good. What about you, Durante, Logan, Bell, and of course my guys in the Replay Mafia, JT, JB? How are you guys doing? And thank you guys as always for joining us. All right, so couple of quick announcements here before we get started off with this Grand Slam outrage from the AEW. These are the AEW fans too. This is the worst part. This is the
These are the people that
sickos.
actually these are the sickos that actually buy tickets to AEW shows,
Yes,
so
bought
when
tickets
you
off
piss
rip.
when you piss them off, oh boy.
Yeah, he pissed them off, man, and I don't know. But so to start things off with NHP Gaming. So most of you guys, I guess, may be aware that there is, at least those of you who play Call of Duty are aware, that there is a new map called the Tomb. It's a new zombies map, and
AEW.
yeah, we are, we are thinking of, we're obviously thinking about doing another gaming stream. We are thinking of next Wednesday, probably around sometime 2 p.m. Central. Nothing's for sure yet. We're going to see how everything pans out going into next week, but we should have an official announcement for you guys Monday. So if you guys want to come chat, talk WrestleMania, talk whatever's hot in wrestling at the moment, or whatever you guys think is hot as wrestling at the moment, come chat with us, and we'll be obviously open to talking about some stuff with you guys on the gaming stream, as well as whatever else you guys want to talk about. So we should hopefully be setting up a gaming stream. Like I said, we're gonna see how everything pans out going into next week, but that's what we're thinking of. We're thinking of Wednesday, doing another gaming stream for the new zombies map. And isn't there another zombies map coming out soon?
That might not be for a couple more months. This one wasn't supposed to come out this soon. They usually don't.
Oh,
This one came out early, so the next one might not be till around maybe a little after Mania, maybe. I'm not too
damn.
sure. Yeah, it's gonna be a minute for the next one, more than likely. So, because usually we gotta wait a minute for this one, but we didn't. So it's probably gonna be a minute for the fifth zombies map, because I think there's four right now for the fifth one.
Yeah, nice. So, also pretty good news, I guess, in the gaming community. We heard on Take Two's conference call that GTA 6 is still aiming for fall of
Hey,
2025. So, we're not looking at the 2026 delays, and obviously anything could happen. But my man, whatever his name was, said on the conference call that they're very stern about fall of 2025. So that's just crazy to me
well,
that we are months away from a game that came out when I was in sixth fucking grade. We were in
lit-
sixth grade, fresh out of elementary school, when that
and
fucking game came out.
I'm 23. I'm 23 years old now. I would fucking be almost, what's that, a master degree in college? I would damn near have that if I went to college. That's how fucking long it took for this next one to come out. So I'm very excited. And that week is gonna be fucking legendary, dude. I don't think no one in the country is gonna be at work that day.
11 years old, bro. 11 years
11.
old.
Literally 11 years old when that game dropped. I am 23 years old now.
Funny thing is, dude, we were talking about this last night, man. But I'm excited to get that first launch day GTA
Uh,
nostalgia again. I literally remember coming home and having Grand Theft Auto 5. My dad and my cousin surprised me when I came home from school that day, and I remember getting off the bus and I was wearing
Probably seen a shirt.
probably I was wearing those goofy ass navy or yellow polos that they had us wear in middle school,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I still remember having my khakis on, and probably I want to say I was either wearing a navy one or the stupid yellow one.
I think it was yellow because it was depending on your grade for our middle school was the shirt color you were wearing. I think sixth grade was yellow.
Ugh, that was
And
I I thought the first year it was whatever. I thought they implemented that the second year.
that's what it was. The first year it could be three colors. I think it could be white, navy, or yellow. And then after that, I think they assigned a color to a grade.
Yeah.
Good lord, that was fucked. And
Uh,
then you had fucking wear khakis like I'm fucking working at State Farm. This shit was foul, man.
Yeah, I never had a problem with it because I always wore the khakis with the pockets on the side, so I could like the cargo
Yeah.
khakis, so I somewhat felt cool, I guess. But dude, wearing straight dress khakis, oh god, no, I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have done it. Ain't
Oh,
those the
I
ones
think
you had on?
I think I had a bunch of pairs. I think I
Dang,
had some
dude.
like the actual like cargos, and then I
Oh,
think I had a
oh,
couple like that.
I don't know how you did it, bro. I
Oh,
gotta
it's
give you
gonna
mad
be
respect for that. I don't.
it was well.
Oh
I fucking
God,
hate you there.
man, those sucked, dude. Those sucked.
I was
But yes,
well,
I I still remember coming home again with my khakis and my fucking polo on. That day I might have been wearing a yellow one, but or whatever the case was, it doesn't matter. And I still remember being surprised with GTA 5. So I'm just excited for like initial launch day to see how that feels, because I just know it's gonna be super nostalgic and super cool. But I'm glad. I'm glad because I 1000% wrote the game off for 2025. I thought we weren't going to see it in 2025. So the fact that we're hearing that they're being stern about a fall of 25 release date is super exciting, cuz
very exciting.
man.
I cannot wait, dude. That shit's about to be insane. It's gonna be crazy.
Well, what's not insane is AEW Grand Slam Australia.
The controversy is
Well,
pretty
what's insane about Grand Slam Australia, I would say, is the marketing for the show.
a
Um
mile.
because we were initially moving with the mindset of doing a Grand Slam Australia review. However, uh things
That
have
shit.
taken a turn for the worst, and we are not doing a review on a show that has a 21-hour tape delay. So this is what we're going to do. We're not doing a Grand Slam Australia review anymore because, again, do the matches look great on the show? Yes.
Yeah,
Did a lot of them have, proper build? Some of them did.
some
Some
of
of them
them do.
did. Some of them have. Some of them suffer from having, I guess, proper build, but just horrible build. Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
it was built. It just is something nobody cares about. But um, we're not going to be doing a review on the show. It airs after NBA All-Star Weekend. The whole show is going to be spoiled by the time we watch the show. Everybody's going to fucking know what happened. So we're not going to be doing a Grand Slam Australia review. However, what we are going to do next week, next week's episode of Dynamite, we will not be talking about that. And on the following episode of Unscripted, we'll cover a Grand Slam Australia on there. So that's how we're going to do it. Again, the show has a 21-hour tape delay, and when I tell you there's absolutely no hype centered around this show, I mean, it honestly doesn't even feel like the show is happening. And
No.
though perception is reality, and the way this show is perceived on AEW Dynamite, they literally talk about it like it's a fucking side hoe. They
Oh
really do,
yeah.
man, and it just feels like the most useless thing ever, dude. So unfortunately, I'm sorry if you guys were looking forward to a Grand Slam Australia review, but it is, again, everything's gonna be spoiled. The show is no fun, and it's a dud. And AEW would have a lot of balls to ever go back to this market ever again, because this was the I don't think I've seen a handling for a wrestling show in a major company this bad ever.
No, I really have. Tony Khan, he's great at burning bridges. I've never heard of burning a marketing bridge for a whole fucking country. That is just insane fucking work with this show, man. And we'll get into some of the denial parts, man, and when we talk about the fucking story of this goddamn pay-per-view and how it came to shit. But like on paper, it's really not a bad show. It's really that tape delay. There's no point in doing a show that has a 21-hour tape delay where we're all going to be sitting here in America just watching our phones ding, or when you open Twitter, you're just going to see, oh, blank won this match via blah blah. It's pointless, dude. So, and half the time, Dynamite's pointless anyway, so might as well swap out, Grand Slam, Dynamite, and talk about it then, man. So, well, that's how we'll do it. And it's such a travesty this way this show turned out.
Yeah, and another main gripe. No, again, obviously Friday will still be predicting the show.
Yeah.
But another main gripe of mine here, dude, is there's a lot on this show that just flat out doesn't make sense because they, like, it almost seemed at the last minute they were like, oh shit, we have people that are either from Australia or New Zealand and we need to book them into the show. Like, don't get me wrong, Buddy Murphy and Okada,
That's a good match.
that's gonna probably tear
That's
the
gonna
fucking
bang.
house down.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the way they went about it. Or
Lawrence.
another example is the Death Riders have been feuding with Rated R FTR, Cope and FTR. And all of a sudden, as of a couple weeks ago, they just trot Jay White out there and, you know, he tells John Moxley he's going to get it. Which would obviously make you think that he's going to challenge him to a one-on-one match for the championship. But then he challenges him to a tag team match with Copeland against him and Claudio. It just seemed to me, and then to Harley Cameron. Nobody sees Harley Cameron on AEW television regularly, and it looks like you're building to a match with her and Mercedes Moné. It's just like the show again. I can appreciate them wanting to put people that are from the venue or are from the, you know, the market in the market. I can appreciate that. I just would have liked for it to make a lot more sense, and it just feels so fucking thrown together at the last second, man. I mean, the show is just, the show's dead. It's fucking pointless, dude.
Exactly. If you would have actually treated it like it was supposed to be, which we'll get into that, and you really built around, you know, the people of that area or of that region, it could have been a really like fresh and unique show for AEW, but they put no care into it and they just threw it to the wayside. Tony Khan and his horrible business tactics just did weird fucking shit with it and just completely screwed it, man. So it's just unfortunate, man.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, yeah, I mean, and you guys know, you guys know, for, you know, front and center, man. I mean, you've seen it last year. You know, we will not shy away from doing show reviews, never. You know
No.
what I mean? And we will, you know, obviously we did have the conversation about possibly not doing Forbidden Door, for one reason or another,
Whole
but
nother beef.
well, but you know, when shows present themselves, man, you know, again, we'll always be on here, bro. But you know, when you kill hype for a show like this, man, and you just absolutely deem it pointless, then we're not doing the review, man. We're not wasting our time, you know, reviewing a show that the company can
Doesn't
give
care about it.
absolutely 0.5 fucks about. So,
Yeah, literally.
speaking of Grand Slam Australia, that transitions us perfectly into our first story for the day. AEW Grand Slam Australia. AEW fans feel scammed over Grand Slam Australia venue change, no pay-per-view, and refund issues.
Oh,
Grand Slam
what the?
Australia, yeah. Grand Slam Australia is just days away, but many feel scammed about how the event has been handled. Originally prompted as a stadium show at Suncorp Stadium, the event has quietly downsized to the Brisbane Entertainment Centre due to low ticket sales. Now, it turns out the show isn't a pay-per-view, but instead a regularly televised episode of Collision. Something that wasn't made clear when the tickets first went on sale. According to Fightful Select, AEW always planned for Grand Slam Australia to be a TV event, despite backlash from fans who believed they were purchasing tickets for a major pay-per-view in a stadium. They say there are a lot of people doubting him in the replies to Tony Khan claiming that Grand Slam Australia has always been a TV oh god. Okay, let's restart that. There's always been a lot of people doubting him in the replies to Tony Khan claiming that the Grand Slam Australia show was always supposed to just be a TV event, but that's what we've heard since it was announced. Okay, let's fucking stop right there. Fightful and Tony Khan. Okay, again, man, look. The people at Fightful, how do you report that and not look at this. Just again, take out all the take out all the components, take out all the components of everything, bro. Just look at this with the naked eye. Listen to what you're saying. You're lying if you genuinely believe Tony Khan the whole time booked a stadium for 60,000 people for an episode of Collision. You're fucking lying to yourself.
They really are.
This was supposed to be a pay-per-view. Let's be honest. This was supposed to be a pay-per-view. And they could not sell tickets because there's no there's no interest in the product. There's no fucking interest in the product. You booked a stadium because you probably thought you could draw the numbers that WWE drew last year. What did they draw? 40,000, 50,000 people. They looked at that and they said, oh, we could probably do that. And we have it in our back pocket of never going to Australia before. So people are going to, fucking jump to grab their wallets when these tickets go on sale. Because we've never been there before. Similar to what happened the first time they went to, Wembley Stadium. They booked Suncorp Stadium. They sold however many tickets. It was egregiously bad. The ticket sales were never even, I don't think they were ever even officially released.
No.
So they went to the Brisbane Entertainment Center, lowered the show then to a 2-hour, Collision, and now you want to try to tell us that this was always set to be a 2-hour Collision? You were going to have a 2-hour Collision and get a stadium for it. Nice fucking try.
The most saddest excuse for a failure, dude. Just admit you failed. I'd respect you more if you just admit this was a fucking failure, and the fans in Australia would have the possibility of going to another show if you attempted it again, if you just be honest with them. It just, like, you're trying to make them look and feel stupid. That's not a good way to treat your fans. I mean, you do it every Wednesday half the time. But when you're directly basically telling your fans, no, you're wrong, you were buying tickets to this. Motherfucker, I know what I was buying tickets to. I'm not Tony Khan. I'm not fucking shelling out money here and there. I know what I'm spending my money on. I thought I was spending it on a pay-per-view. And lo and behold, shit gets downgraded. So your ticket, you buy a ticket in a certain stadium. You buy the stuff. You buy a hotel around that stadium. You're probably looking at food to eat out there in that area, the norm. And then you just basically get an email of, hey, we're moved. This is where we're going now. So now you gotta rebook everything, replan everything. That just fucks you in itself, dude. That just screws you over in itself. And then they show up the show to look like this instead of a pay-per-view. Now you're getting a special episode of their worst television show. That's an insult. That's an insult to your fans. And that's one thing you never want to do is insult your fans, and that is what Tony Khan is doing right there. There is no way that anybody would believe that was the plan the whole time. Let me book 50K for Collision. That was not the plan. You had to downsize, and then you really had to downsize the fucking card and the time slot and all that, man, because I'm sure Max, it would constantly they would say or at least I remember reading before Grand Slam that Grand Slam was planned to be the first Max exclusive show. So I'm sure Max was thinking, oh, they go sell 50K in this Australia show. We air it live, from Australia. Boom, we got watches. And then no one buys tickets to the fucking show, and they gotta move it all around. And I'm sure Max said, okay, you put it on normal TV, we'll do it at the same time. It's a fucking tragedy of what happened to these shows, and Tony Khan is literally going to sit there and just lie to his fans' faces that bought these tickets, and they'll probably never buy tickets to your show again because of this, man. So good going, Tony. First ever market burned bridge. Never heard of that shit before.
Man, like I said, man, they would seriously have a lot of balls to go back to this venue, dude, because
Mm.
you. So, again, if you look at another thing, you announced this Grand Slam show. I believe they announced this at All in London.
I think they did.
So
Yeah.
you mean to tell me you announce a special episode of Collision at your WrestleMania, AEW's WrestleMania, basically? You announce a special
Yeah.
episode of Collision then? You're a fucking liar. You're a liar, and you cannot, Tony cannot admit when things went south.
Nope.
Hey, we thought
Fucked
coming to
up.
this venue would, be good for us, and ended up having to be a much smaller scale show.
It,
That's
it's
it.
Shit happens. WWE have had to do that before. And where did that Money in the Bank have to downsize?
It was
Oh no.
so it was originally in where WrestleMania is going to be next year. It was originally in Allegiant Stadium because
Yeah.
WWE was moving with the mindset of having
Every
a giant doing giant arenas for some reason for every show, even though nobody fucking bought tickets to the shit. And then they ended up having to go to like the MGM Grand or something.
Yeah, I remember that. It was that. Yeah, it was years of Money in the Bank. They had to downsize, and they just downsized. They said, "Yep, we got to move arenas." Didn't sell enough tickets.
Which
Even like,
if Nick Khan wanted to move with that mindset today, he
oh,
absolutely could
sure.
because people would buy tickets today. Um,
Oh yeah.
but back then in 2021, man, nobody wanted to come out to WWE shows. Everybody wanted to go to AEW shows. So,
What
um,
happened? You had the lead, bro. You had the lead and you dropped it. How do you fumble it, bro? You were damn near at the end of the field. I'm trying to make a fucking some type of sports reference. I couldn't tell you, but you're damn near about to do it, and you dropped the fucking ball, dude. You were leading and you dropped the goddamn ball. How? You were leading against WWE for
yep.
for like 2 years, and you fucking dropped the ball. And yeah, and even in 2021 state, if WWE was in its current state, it would be outpacing them. You could say, but it wouldn't be a fucking here to here like it is now. It'd be like a here to here, which is at the end of the day is expected. You're never gonna be boom, especially when they're at their level now. So being right here would be a fucking amazing thing, and they're all the way down there, buddy. And it's just sad to fucking see.
Yeah, and like you were saying, the absolute number one way to not go about this is to then turn around and insult your fans' intelligence.
Yeah. Oh, this
And
was you guys were buying the whole time. No, it fucking wasn't.
eh, yeah, and that's exactly what they did.
It's crazy work, dude. That's insane work.
Fans on Reddit's
Oh no.
Squared Circle group
Oh god, Reddit.
have been vocal about their frustrations and how they felt ripped off. Oh, we're getting to Reddit, man, so shit's probably about to get a little sticky here. But
Yeah, never know.
you know, the
Right in the
the
middle of it.
exactly, these Reddit fans, these Reddit fans are very a very tight knit group, I'll say.
They are. They are. I'll tell you that.
According to one Redditor, his name is Liv. Oh, no, my bad. Sorry. Sorry, it doesn't give a username. He says, so I bought tickets back in September. The moment they changed the venue from Suncorp to the Entertainment Center venue, I was pissed. And in November, I tried to get a refund, canceled everything, bookings, hotels, flights, etc. And they tried to charge me higher for the tickets I bought to a smaller venue. Fast forward to the start of February, Ticket Tech was like, we ain't refunding you, bad luck. It took them nearly 3 months to contact me after sending about 10 after me sending about 10 emails regarding this, so we had no choice to rebook flights and hotels, so we didn't waste money for this event. Then to know it's an episode of Collision and not a pay-per-view. This is the last time I give my money to AEW in the product. Tony Khan is a shit booker and organizer, and we have to suffer. Now, don't forget for the people like myself who paid full price, now tickets are being sold like 2 for 1 or 3 for 1 just to fill a 10K arena. Just shows this product stinks.
Damn.
The second Redditor.
Oh no.
He says, I feel totally ripped off and scammed. What went from a 4-hour event with finales and feuds and insane matches has become a weekly TV taping. This is absolutely shameful. Another Redditor says, I convinced a bunch of non-wrestling fans to come with me and fly here from across the country until the recent announcement that the show has been downgraded to a TV taping from a 4-hour pay-per-view to a 2-hour Collision is absolutely such a kick in the balls. Another Redditor. There's a lot of Redditors, man.
We know. Yeah.
You know, whether these are, people that have been on Reddit, maybe they just returned to Reddit,
Maybe,
We don't know who this is.
Told not to.
Another Redditor says, honestly, if they canceled the show, I'd be bummed out, but I would also sort of be happy to get my $750 back. Obviously don't want that to happen, but it's been such a drag. If they did it, it's been such a drag that if they did it, I've already been beat down so much, I don't care that much. Wow. There's a lot.
Lord.
Oh, there's a lot more.
Oh, I love them. Keep them coming, man. This is music right now. This is like the Kendrick album. Whenever that thing comes out.
I hate traveling. Money's tight right now, but I figured at least I'd go see AEW put on a huge show. I'd never go see I'd never go see an AEW show again. But honestly, I doubt they'll come back anyway after how this debacle went. Another one. I honestly wouldn't go to another AEW show. The amount of money spent on this show wouldn't even be worth a pay-per-view alone, let alone what we're being dished up. Another one. Between tickets, flights, and accommodations, I've spent over $1,000. And I still have to pay for a 30-minute Uber because the Brisbane Entertainment Center is nowhere near Suncorp Stadium. And PT is not running out of the entertainment center that weekend. Why the fuck is... Good Lord, there's... Okay, so now we're finding out public fucking transportation is not running out of the Brisbane Entertainment Center. Oh, this gets worse. Oh, Lord, that's another thing. Well, we got another one. Oh, what were you... Go ahead.
Roster's gonna get there. Fucking Tony... I mean... Not Tony Khan. CM Punk had to take the fucking train to go to whatever fucking show that was. I think it was All In.
Yes, it was the biggest fucking show the company's ever done. Their biggest star had to take the fucking trolley.
Take the fucking trolley. I don't know how the roster's gonna get to the arena. I don't know if they're gonna fucking rent a bus or what the fuck they're gonna do. I have no clue, dude. The good Lord, no public transportation. Holy fuck.
A 30-minute Uber.
That's probably, man.
Oh, brother. Okay, get
one of those ones that are like heavy with the braking and they just like slam on the brakes every two. I don't know if you ever got one of those before, dude. I got those a few, dude. Those are the worst. Oh man.
Another Redditor says they picked the worst location. Did practically zero marketing for it, fucked over fans with the relocation, and now cut the show into half of what it was supposed to be. Unless this event makes all this shit worthwhile, I will not bother attending another AEW event in the future. This is how poorly they handled things.
Yeah.
And on top of everything else, on top of
Mm-hmm.
all that was the last Redditor.
Damn it.
On top of all this, Tony Khan decided to go on a podcast or an interview with Scott Fishman of TV Insider, decided to double down on the Grand Slam Australia debacle, as one fan referred to it as. He says, yes, having this be a TV event was always the plan. That's something the network wanted. It's something the network brought to us recently as an opportunity to follow NBA All-Star Saturday. We saw it as a huge opportunity, and it was a great vote of confidence for our partners at Warner Bros. Discovery. It will be one of the biggest nights of the year on TNT.
Wait. Hold on. Wait. Run it back. He said they were recently. This all had happened recently. Motherfucker, you announced the show in a bigger arena. What was that? September? Last September? I was gonna say Australia. What the fuck?
August.
August? Okay, that's you're literally blatantly lying, bro. Like, how are the fans gonna respect you, dog?
It's something the network wanted, and it was always the plan. Then he proceeds to say in the same sentence, the network brought it to us recently. So it wasn't always the fucking plan. Or, I mean, what the fuck, dude? I mean, way to alienate even fucking more of your fan base. And apparently, there was rumors going around that AEW that there are about 20% of people in Australia that watch AEW, and a lot of fans actually complained that the show wasn't in Sydney or Melbourne because Brisbane is further away.
I'm sure.
So,
Good.
Tony, I don't even know. I don't even know, man. Again, blatantly lying to your audience, blatantly insulting their intelligence. What was one thing about WWE in past years that absolutely rocked fans to their core? What was one of the main things people hated about Vince McMahon and the way he went about booking his shit?
Insulted your fucking intelligence every week. It feels like that with AEW, with the storylines too. We've been talking about that with every MJF feud recently, how they insult your intelligence. But it's insulting to watch. It tells you if you do not understand and like this because we just switched it up, you are stupid. It's like, dude, that's okay, bro. Okay.
That's uh, what can you even say, man? And again, this is why we're not reviewing the show,
Yeah.
because on top of all
I think
this, it's on a 21-hour tape delay. The CEO is so fucked up. He can't even, this man can't even admit that something went wrong, to the point where he has to sit there and blatantly insult his fans' intelligence by trying to force feed them that this was a planned event the whole time, even though the network just brought it to us recently. This was our plan the whole fucking time. I mean, are you serious, man? Are have we got to this level with AEW, man, to the point where we're blatantly lying when something goes wrong because we can't admit that our whole marketing and our whoever is running doing their live events, how is that person not fired? I mean
well,
seriously, man. How do you have that person showing up to work every day? I mean,
and you're
dude,
it's just normal.
there's again no marketing. There's been no marketing since August, other than
No.
the initial the initial videos they were playing of Tony Storm and Paul White walking around Suncorp Stadium, the stadium that they're not even doing the venue in, mind you now. It it's fucked. It's
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 so fucked.
it's fucked, man. It's fucked. Tony Khan absolutely fucked himself out of going to Australia for the first time. And this is
He did.
why you don't wait until your product is shit to go to a venue. Could you imagine if they went to Australia in 2021?
Would've sold out that fucking 50,000 seats, no problem. Like, it just it's just sad. It's sad what this company has turned into, man, and all the decisions that Tony Khan is making and whatnot. I just feel bad for that roster, dude. It's
Ugh.
such a good roster with such a great talent, and they're just on this fucking rocky ass, sinking ass boat, and it's fucked, dude. It's fucked.
Dude, you know, and again, you look at, you know, you look at Nick Khan coming into the company, being paired with Triple H. It almost happens
Perfect.
at the snap of a finger how much international different markets they're going to.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it so hard for AEW to go to these markets to the point? Why is your company even 5 years old and this is the first time you're going to Australia in 5 years? It took you 4 years to go to London.
Wasn't it just their first time going to like fucking Atlanta or something? Not Atlanta. One of the shows. It was like a normal ass U.S. city, and it was their first time going there, dude. Was it the episode where Herd Syndicate won? Was that episode in a in a first location? I know one of the Dynamites recently was in like a normal ass U.S. fucking city or town, and that was the first time being there. Oh, it's a travesty, man.
um
Mm,
It's okay, maybe turn yourself up on your end. You're pretty loud for me.
that's it. Never touched my settings. Hold on. How about now?
Oh, turn it back down. Turn it back down.
How about now?
Back up a little.
How about now?
I think you're good there. Yeah,
Okay.
I think. Um, yeah, I don't know. What the fuck was I saying? Grand Slam Australia. Oh, why? My question is, when the company was hot,
Hmm.
2019, 2020, 2021, and basically majority of 2022, for 4 years, why were these international markets never, ever jumped on? Again, as soon as Nick Khan came in, even when Vince was still in charge, you hear about Clash at the Castle going to Wales for the pay-per-view for the first time in however many years at the time. And now look at international pay-per-views are almost like a part of our
Future.
routine. I mean,
Yeah.
they are. I mean, we literally have news about WWE taking Money in the Bank to an international market later this year. Look at the past 2 years. Puerto Rico, obviously they go to Saudi, Puerto Rico,
Man.
London, France, all these fucking Berlin, all these places. A lot of people want the Mexico show this year. All these places, and they're being tackled. They're being tackled accordingly because there's a market there and there's people that want to see them. Why, when this company was hot, did you not jump on these opportunities?
Literally. It's just I don't understand. You would have made so much money. You would have expanded everything at the time. And now you fail yourself on the weekly, and that's obviously caused a decline in interest. And when you hit that decline in interest, that's when you want to branch out to places. It just makes no sense.
Absolutely horrible, and I truly, truly feel sorry for everybody that was involved, and everybody that is currently involved with this Grand Slam Australia shit, because it is fucking it is ridiculous what AEW has done to its fan base. And again, these are the sickos. These are
Yeah,
people that bought these tickets off rip on launch. They bought these tickets. These are people that have been had tickets since this was a stadium show.
literally. And you're just screwing you're screwing the fucking few thousand people you have left. You're screwing them over, dude. So you're doing a special episode of a TV show that its most recent episode got 190,000 viewers. That was your plan all along to do that? Get the fuck out of here, dude. Come on.
You've spent all that money. You've spent all that. You're probably going to spend all that money flying people to
Right.
Australia, flying production, and doing all this stuff in Australia for this show to be a collision.
Get the fuck out of here.
What a catastrophic failure was
Mm-hmm.
AEW Grand Slam. What a joke.
Yeah. Oh, it's such a joke, dude.
Speaking of jokes, MJF versus Jeff Jarrett. Tony Khan has decided to end the feud earlier than planned. While speaking on The Hump, Sean Ross Sapp talked about how nothing in AEW is guaranteed to be fully greenlit. He explained that ideas sometimes are he explained that ideas are sometimes discussed with talent before being brought to Tony Khan, which isn't the approach Khan prefers. When ideas do reach him, he may approve them, but often adjusts their duration or direction. As an example, Sapp mentioned that the planned storyline between MJF and Jeff Jarrett was originally intended to last longer than it was going to go. However, Khan decided to shift focus towards a MJF and Adam Hangman Page feud. He says, I don't know if anybody has anything has everything greenlit. And I mean anybody. People will sometimes discuss it with the talent before they even discuss it with Tony, which isn't the method he would prefer. Sometimes it gets brought to Tony and he's like, well, I like that idea, but not for that long. For example, MJF and Jeff Jarrett, that was supposed to go much longer than it was going than it's going to go. But Khan was like, no, I've got other plans. I'm moving towards MJF and Hangman, so that didn't end up happening. How do you think about this? And are you sad that we're never gonna see MJF and Jeff Jarrett don the ring together again?
I am fucking delighted, dude. I mean, that shit was so bad. It was the most contradictory, just sad shit I had to watch on Dynamite. It's literally it was just the saddest shit to see MJF like that, and him having to face Jeff Jarrett, and the banter was horrid. It was really bad, dude. So I'm glad it's not continuing. I really am, and I'm glad Tony Khan is finally taking a path of, okay, this isn't working. Let's refocus, because old Tony Khan, or sometimes even still current Tony Khan, if he has a plan, he's gonna fucking stick to it, no matter the reaction, no matter what. I'm glad, and he could say, obviously Tony Khan worded at it as, oh, I just want to do MJF and Hangman instead. No, you were gonna do that afterwards, after you done this long ass Jeff Jarrett shit. But the Jeff Jarrett shit, you saw that the fans saw was fucking atrocious, and you were like, okay, yeah, let me scrap this now. Finally made a good decision in listening to the fans, but maybe it's too late in that regard. But and he's finally reshifting, man. So obviously he's got to hide it behind something else. He can't admit defeat. He can't admit fans didn't like something, but fans didn't, and that's why it got fucking shortened. So that's good that got listened to, man. And as for the idea of MJF Hangman, on paper, that should be like your greatest feud ever in AEW. It should be. But boy, that is going to be the most 50-50 shit ever. It's either going to be great or it's going to be fucking horrid. So I'm more scared than anything about the prospect of that feud, man. So we'll see how it goes. I hope they don't fuck up Hangman's character. I mean, they already fucked up MJF, so I don't really have to ask for that or ask to not have that happen. It's already happened. And they already kind of started to do it with Hangman, but do not put the nail in the coffin for these two with this feud, and please just treat it well, man. But overall, I mean, it is a good thing that they canned it. Canned it for all the wrong reasons, but it's a good thing that they finally canned it, man. But what do you think, man? Are you upset that they canned Jeff Jarrett and MJF, and how do you like the idea of Hangman and MJF?
Well, obviously it sucks when you have to, it sucks anytime you have to can a story for the wrong reasons, like you said, but I can't say I'm losing sleep over them canceling MJF and Jeff Jarrett. I mean, that, I'm surprised it took them that long. But,
Hmm.
I could see them wanting to get to a point where, you never want to just for the sake of making sense of and having things interlock on television, you never want to just have somebody in the middle of, I guess, heat and then just drop it. So they waited to get to a point where, Jarrett can lose his match, not get his title match. MJF can come out and do the whole I told you so. And that's good enough, okay? We didn't need anything spectacular. Again, for the sake of television in any feud, you never want to just in the dead middle of something, just stop it, because then it
Yeah,
just looks like you don't know what the fuck you're doing. But what AEW did was good enough. It was good enough to get us to the point where we can say, oh, okay, that's where it ended. Jeff lost and he didn't want to team with MJF, so he ended up losing. MJF hits him and says, I told you so. That's good enough. And
there you go.
let's take our opportunity to fucking squeeze ourselves out of the fucking doggy door and get the fuck out of here now. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that is happening, and I'm glad that has happened. As for Tony Khan, not preferring talent going behind his back with certain ideas, Tony, that's because your talent does not have an open line of communication with you, because they know you're going to just do whatever the fuck you want. And
Mm-hmm.
they don't even want things to cross your ear, because some things might suck. And who's to say you might like it? Sounds a lot like what we used to hear about Vince McMahon. Of some things you couldn't bring to Vince because you heard John Moxley many, many, many years ago talking about how he was gifted a some line about a pooper scooper in one of his promos, and he begged, please take that out. Do not let Vince see that, because he's going to
Yeah,
love it and he's going to absolutely need that to be said on television.
yeah. I
Obviously.
think
Hmm?
think it was also Mox who basically said like if you have the comedy side, never show it to Vince because that's all
Yes.
you'll be. Like it's one of those things where if someone sees that thing in you, that's all they see in you, and you're fucked. And Tony Khan does that a lot. Oh, you're good at matches. That's what you're gonna do. Just matches. Man,
He sees that in a lot of people, but
yeah,
he
that
sees
that's
that
his
in half
usual
the
go-to.
roster. Yeah. Um, but yeah, so I don't know. I mean, that's the first problem. That's the first problem, man, is again, people don't bring things to Tony because a lot of people probably don't like Tony's ideas, which you see where Tony's ideas have landed them in a lot of ways. As for MJF and Adam Page, personally, right now, I mean, obviously it's better than Jeff Jarrett, so I'll take it.
Hmm.
But in terms of that feud, you
It's
are
scary.
you are teetering. You are walking
Hmm.
a very fine line of you are walking a fine line of booking yourselves into a corner of all fucking corners here, because on one end of the coin, you have Adam Page, who's fantastic. He's always been great. They have messed up his character. They have booked his character so wrong. it is just mind-boggling how they let that slip out of their fingers coming out of the summer of last year. And on the other side of the coin, you have MJF, who's another guy who they have fucked his character up on an
Mm.
astronomical level with the feud with Adam Cole. And then obviously coming out of a feud with Jeff Jarrett, he almost has to win this, right? But uh, but you could say that again, you can make the same argument for Adam Page. You can make the same
Mhm.
argument for Adam Page. Adam Page has to win this. They fucked his character up. Well, they did the same fucking thing to MJF. How do you fuck both of their characters up? Both of the guys who, when this company originally started, these were your future main event guys. These were the guys that were going to carry this company for the next 30 years.
Exactly. These are your two original main characters. Obviously, there's been main characters like Swerve and Mox and like Punk. Although they have their own identity at AEW. Technically, they aren't AEW like created through AEW process. Those are your two OGs. MJF and Hangman are your most successful just AEW guys. And you are gonna you are at a point where they are the most rocky in their success because of your booking, and you want to pair them together it's a risk, dude. It's a risk, and no matter what, to some degree, someone's probably gonna suffer from this.
Oh, 100, if not both. If
Oh,
not
probably.
both. Um, so it I don't know. It's scary. It's scary to see, but I mean, we'll see how the cookie crumbles, and we will definitely be bringing it up to you guys as the story goes on. Now, obviously unscripted when we talk about Dynamite. I'm sure we will be getting into Adam Page and MJF, but I don't know, man. I don't know. This is obviously Tony running a risk because you again are running the risk of two huge stars in your company that have both been ruined. You are running the
Mm.
risk of ruining one of them, if not both of them more. So I don't know. If Tony Khan gets lucky on an offhand and this feud is booked great, then you could be looking at an MJF or at an Adam Page and Swerve Strickland situation where both of the guys end up looking great coming out of it. But again, you're not always going to have that outcome, but he better hope and he better book his ass off for that outcome because you're
He
running a
better.
risk. So yeah, that's that. That is that. And speaking of AEW, or more specifically, I guess, ROH. ROH, according to the Wrestling Observer, ROH has signed Elijah, or formerly known as Elias, as he recently put out a vignette where he joined the Righteous. How do you feel about Elijah,
Why?
formerly Elias? How do you feel about Elijah signing with ROH and joining the Righteous?
I mean, good for him, and I mean, good for everybody involved in that group. I mean, from the little video package thing they made, they seem like a very well mix of like characters and vibes, and I just love seeing the Righteous too. They're so good.
Dude.
One of the biggest fucking Paul fuck ups, dude. I don't know how Paul fucked that up. They were in Polcatraz, and they had to break out, man. I don't know why he put them in there, but it seems like a good mix, and it's very cool. But at the end of the day, we're in ROH. That ceiling very isn't is not very high. It's one of those little tiny homes where the ceiling's about this big, and it's not a high ceiling for anyone in any capacity, man. So you could only go so far. But it is a good pairing, and Hopefully they could make their way to AEW. I don't know why the Righteous weren't in AEW in the first place and not ROH, but hey, that's just a whole nother thing for both major companies just fucked up the Righteous, dude. You have talent in your hands and no one is using it. So hopefully they could like maybe get showcased in ROH and get some eyes and then go up to AEW, something like that, man. But it's a cool pairing. I actually do really think it's cool. I like the matches styles. And I do like Elias or Elijah, as he's called now. He was going crazy back in like, what was that, like 2019, was it? That he had
Yeah,
that he was like actually over. And
2018.
then 2018, and then Vince just did the same thing every week for like 2 years and just fucked it all up. But which what Tony Khan will probably do. But nonetheless, man, I do like the pairing, and I like all of them individually. So hopefully it could work. But at the end of the day, it's ROH, dude, and they can only go so far. So hopefully they can make their way to AEW and the AEW side of things, and not the Collision side of things, the actual AEW Dynamite side of things. And I do like that pairing. I really just wish the best, dude. That's such an immense talent you have there with the Righteous, and I just want him to be fucking used, man. But what do you think about like Elijah and this whole thing and pairing with the Righteous and where do you think they could go?
Man, well, in terms of Elijah, um, you know, him going to ROH is it's inevitably a death wish, right? I mean, it is it's ROH is let's go ahead and start calling ROH no man's land, because that is
Or
that is
what do people say? How do you, I don't know how you pronounce it. It's like Guantanamo Bay. It's like
oh
like
yeah,
the
Tony Khan's prison, Guantanamo Bay. Yeah, that's right.
shit kills me, dude. That's where they are. They are in Guantanamo Bay. Because
Y-
holy shit.
yes, that's exactly where they are. Yes. So that sucks, obviously, and you know, I when I originally found out, I sent the video to you guys, and I said, these guys would have been great in WWE altogether or in NXT. They would have been great. And again, it brings me back to WrestleMania 39 weekend, man. I don't know how WWE let the Righteous go. I really, I watch them, and I watch Vincent,
Oh,
and I watch
well,
Dutch, and I just think to myself, how the fuck did WWE pass on their just vibe and their ambiance? And then they go to Tony Khan, and he's not going to capitalize on their,
mhm.
cinematic
Promo ability.
ability and their promo ability and just all the abilities you have around these guys. I knew he wasn't going to capitalize on it. These guys are stuck in fucking no man's land, bro. They're in Guantanamo Bay. That is where they are. And I really hope at the end of whatever deal they can, maybe WWE can welcome these guys back, because I just don't know how you look at Vincent and Dutch and just don't just see money in those guys, man. I really don't see it. And um, as for Elias going to ROH, I'm glad he found some sort of work, but I mean it's ROH at the end of the day, and for as great as they are, and they all look great together. For as great as they are, they're not going to be used to the potential that they could. Those three as a cult like group on Dynamite, that's
That'd be
money.
tough.
That's
That's
money.
money right there.
Just
Them versus Hurt Syndicate, them versus Guns. You got it. You got it right there. And you even like Logan mentions in the comments, back when they faced Cole and MJF and fucking got squashed. Dude, even when they did that, the fucking AEW sickos were like, yo, these guys are cool. You should use them, or never got used. Homie, you the sickos liked them, and you still didn't use them. Come on.
e- everything about those guys is fucking money. The look, the promo, the setting of their little vignettes, their ambiance, their fucking theme song. Everything about these guys is fantastic. It's fucking great. And they don't use them, and it sucks that, again, the righteous are now Elias is lumped in with them as just being a part of no man's land, bro. And that's what it is, and it fucking sucks because they are one of the most untapped teams on the planet today. I mean, of just untapped potential, and it is
Mm-hmm.
just, it is criminal. It is criminal how ridiculously they are underused. Um, but again, happy he found work, but at the end of the day, this is ROH. This is fucking no man's land. But he looks sick regardless. With the righteous, and it just sucks. It just sucks, man. And I can't wait for whenever their deals are up to maybe hopefully go eventually join WWE one day, because that, man, ridiculous, bro. Absolutely
Really is.
ridiculous. Um.
Mm-hmm.
So, speaking of another AEW, sort of semi-regular AEW talent, Mina Shirakawa. Mina is out of action with an injury that she picked up on February 2nd. The nature of Shirakawa's injury has not been revealed, with a statement from Stardom on X stating, as announced earlier today, Mina Shirakawa will be out of action for an unspecified period to recover from injuries sustained on Sunday at the Korakuen Hall. Join us in wishing Mina a speedy recovery. Mina responded to this on Twitter saying, regrettable, but I am not the type of person to just keep losing and getting beaten. Please give me some time. I can give it back at 120%. End quote. Well, that sucks for Mina, and I wish her a very speedy recovery, man. Whatever sort of injury she's dealing with.
Definitely, man. Definitely. I wish the best. Injuries are always the worst. And, you always got to wish the safe and speedy recovery, man.
Definitely. Um.
So,
Sorry, I had to do a quick Google search.
shit.
Good, and that just got me thinking. I'm trying to
Okay.
see if anything ever did come out.
From Guantanamo Bay.
Okay, so yeah, it's an all-time fumble by WWE. So apparently the reason it never worked out with Vincent and Dutch is because they planned to put him in the Wyatt 6 and it got stopped for whatever reason.
Dude, they would have been so perfect in
W-
there. Dude,
It's
dude, Bo and them. Oh, man. Come on. That's
e-
just perfect.
even without the Wyatt 6, how did
Just
you
use
not
them.
look at them as a tag team and just say, dude, we could put them with anybody. Anybody
Dude,
that has a cult-like vibe to them, and it would have been great.
anybody. Like, literally, you could put it, just Dexter Loomis in there. Made that a trio. That would have been fire. You could have put Joe Gacy in there. Boom. Would have been fire. Dude, literally, you could have put anybody in that group. AJ isn't even a cult guy, and AJ Styles would have mixed well with those guys. That's how fucking just malleable they were, and you didn't do anything with them. Like, homie, come on.
Yes, yeah, they did stop it because Wyatt, Wyatt went off of TV, which I don't know if that means that they were
And
ever going to just stop the Wyatt 6 at that point, or what they were going to do. It doesn't really say that, but yeah, Bray did get taken off television, and it seemed like that just stopped everything, and then that was it.
what it always seemed like to me, I think they were just gonna stop all the Wyatt Six stuff. until like Bo was like, "Hey, I want to continue with the legacy of all this, and I want to do the Wyatt Six." I think without Bo trying to do that, all these guys in the Wyatt Six would have just been either they're doing their own thing or probably not even in the company at this point. So I think it's all because of Bo that everything still exists.
Because I remember hearing reports way back that Bray was good friends with Vincent and Dutch, and he was trying to
Mm-hmm.
get them signed way before any of the Wyatt Six. He was just trying to,
He was trying
I
to get
guess,
him
put in
signed
a
in
good
general.
word for him. Which,
Yeah,
again, not even thinking about the Wyatt Six, how the hell did you just not see those
dude,
two as a tag team?
dude, imagine, bro, them in NXT that like probably it would have been like near the end of Coder in NXT, but even just coming at the tail end of that, dude. Oh man, that would have just been gold, bro. Come on.
Well,
Such a travesty.
uh,
Even though,
uh,
maybe it's a good thing they were in NXT in that like change time of like the initial 2.0 stuff. They probably would have been with fucking Michael Myers, Parker Bordeaux, and Joe Gacy and shit.
yeah,
That'd have been
yeah,
their own punk
they
band.
would have been in the schism. Um, oh God, he's frozen. Ah, there you are.
There it fucking goes. Never
Yes,
ends.
yeah, Logan, you're absolutely right, man. So I'm assuming because all of them traveled for Royal Rumble media except for Bo. So I'm gonna go ahead and speculate and say that it's him. And we need,
Oh, have
we
the rest on TV.
yeah, I mean, look at what they did when Eric was hurt. They kept Ivar on television to keep shit relevant.
Yeah, it's not. If you would have, like you said, I think on unscripted, or I might have been unscripted, or the last news, you could have just had one of those. You could have established two people in that group as a tag team and sent them off and let them do their own thing. While
Yep.
said, seems like Bo is recovering. Boom.
You could have also established one guy as a singles guy, preferably Joe
Mhm.
Gacy, and you could have. Why wasn't Nikki Cross in the Rumble?
Yeah, why is she not in the women's division in the slightest?
That
Like, dude, what is going on here?
that's what they need. That's honestly what they need, man. And they need to feel more like regulars more than a special attraction. They need to feel
Exactly.
like regulars if you want this thing to succeed. Um
Said those masks and the over reliance on the character aspect was a ceiling, and that ceiling is hit. They are bumping their head on the ceiling every week
it's
because
it,
you can't do anything with them because you
it
just made them a fucking silhouette.
exactly. It's the same problems they faced with Wyatt. They
Mm-hmm.
put him with Uncle Howdy, and then all it became was just a silhouette of the guy in the top hat, and that
That was it. That's all you have, and when you have fucking fire in your hands, you have Bo Dallas. Who, dude, watch those fucking vignettes they made of him talking to himself as fucking Uncle. That shit was amazing. That was amazing promo and character work. Let's get that on TV. Let's get them maskless, cutting promos, having matches, having fucking interactions with people. That's what I want to fucking see.
and also if you would have gave the other members a leg to stand on, then
Mm-hmm.
we the whole
Establish them.
yes, the only one you did another therapy segment with was Eric Rowan. Eric
And it was
Rowan had
fire.
and it was fucking incredible. He did
That
an
shit made me
interview.
cry.
Yes, he did an interview where he was talking with Uncle Howdy, and he was, it was emotional. It was
It
fucking
was
emotional.
It was amazing. He literally, he said he lost a brother. He gained himself up. He brought himself back. Then he lost another. It was, dude, that shit made me cry, homie. That's how good that shit was. Then those other guys can do the same thing. Joe Gacy can cut a promo. You never let him, but Dexter Loomis can, like, dude,
Yes.
you got it in them. Just use them.
All of now keep in mind everybody in that group has a leg to stand on that
They do.
WWE kicked out from under them. Joe Gacy, how many people has he lost? He lost Parker. He lost Ava. He lost the grizzled young veterans, the Schism, whatever the fuck they were called. He lost them. Dexter Loomis lost Indy. He lost The Way, right? He lost all that whole group. Nikki Cross, she lost Sanity. She lost Alexa Bliss at one point. They were good friends. Everybody in that group has lost, and they've lost something, and they have some reason to be emotional about something. And you kick the leg out from under them. You kick the leg out from under them. They are not their WWE focuses too much on the aura of the Wyatt Six and them being a special attraction, and it's killing the fucking group.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's the fucking killer. I said it. We said it when they initially debuted, and our fears that, if you rely too much on the mask and the silhouette and the characters, it's gonna be a ceiling, and it's the literal lowest ceiling ever because we don't even see them when just one of them is injured. It's dude, you have fire in your. Imagine a humanized version of this group interacting with the bloodline. That shit would have been fire. You would have
Amazing.
had money in your hands. You could have filled your summer up with that and made SmackDown very interesting. And you couldn't do none of that. You could have had them fucking when they were on Raw, mix it up with the Judgment Day. Judgment Day, that they were a family falling apart. They're feuding with a family as strong as ever. Come on, you had it, and you didn't do anything with it.
Yeah, I don't know. I I don't know. I'm lost, bro. I'm lost with the Wyatt Six, and these were our concerns with the group. Everybody told us to shut up, and we were
Oh,
just marks talking about whatever,
whatever.
and and all of it came true, and now all of you are looking fucking silly. So
Mm-hmm. Wait
regardless,
till summer. Gonna happen again.
it will. It fucking will. Regardless. Okay. Um, Bear. Oh wow. Hold on.
Yeah, I just read that. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I won't see any that tag league no more. No more Iron
Uh,
Savages.
Whoa.
Yep.
Okay. Sap just tweeted out like 20 minutes ago. Um, Bear Boulder has been fired by AEW. The company learned that he had been arrested for battery by strangulation
Man.
in January and cut him from the company. Um wow. I definitely didn't expect to hear that today. Well, then he got exactly what he deserved. So that was
Yeah,
that
that's
that's interesting.
that's fucking horrible, man. I wish the best for whoever the victim may be. And wow, well, no more Iron Savages, man. It's not like Tony Khan did anything with them.
Yeah. Yep. Well, hmm, interesting. Well, now that is looks to be all the AEW news we have here today for you guys, man. An official word from our sponsor here at NHP, W Energy. W Energy is an energy drink loaded with vitamins and nootropics formulated for anyone trying to improve focus without getting the jitters. W Energy is a clean, zero sugar, zero calorie, free from fillers formula that has no artificial colorings and 150 milligrams of caffeine per serving. You can get your W Energy products today with the link below and code NHP at checkout to get 10% off your next W purchase, man. As always, the official sponsor of what we do here at NHP. Thank you as always to our sponsors, W Energy.
Truly, always. Thank you to Dubby. If you guys want to stay up and complain like we do, W will keep you guys energized for that, or if you want to stay up to watch Grand Slam in the dead of night, or just to do your daily activities, workout, whatever it may be, try W.
There you have it. Wow. All right. Well, I guess starting off, we'll start with Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews has took to Instagram to announce that he sustained a torn pectoral muscle on a recent episode of SmackDown. He says, heading into surgery today, a few weeks ago on SmackDown, I tore my pec. An unfortunate situation. Sometimes you do everything right, but there are just some things beyond your control. I'm looking forward to the road ahead, attacking it with a positive and unstoppable mindset and enjoying my clean shave. It's been a while since I've seen this baby face, Crews wrote on Tuesday night. He suffered an injury during a match with Johnny Gargano on the January 24th edition of SmackDown following a backstabber from Gargano. Crews immediately grabbed his pectoral and shoulder area following the move, and he looked to be in considerable pain after landing on his pec following an enziguri. Hold on. Crews would ultimately win the match against Gargano, continuing an undefeated streak in singles matches that has been in place since August of 24. Crews has only had 3 matches as a part of the winning streak, however. Oh, never mind. I was gonna say I didn't even know they were running an undefeated streak for him, but it's 3 matches.
Yeah, that's not a fucking undefeated. It's not an undefeated streak. That's fucking 4 appearances in fucking 4 months. I'm thinking they're booking a secret demon on their hands and no one even noticed. And they were not just booking a secret demon, man. But sucks, dude. Injuries are always the worst, man. And I do wish the best for Apollo Crews and speedy, safe recovery.
Definitely, man. So yes, hopefully Apollo ends up being all right and all that good stuff, man. So speaking of good injury news, we got 2. Starting off with the one, Jade Cargill. According to John Alba, Jade Cargill has actively been training in an effort to get cleared as soon as possible. Though the nature of her injury remains unclear. As reported by PW Insider, the belief within WWE is that Cargill will be able to return ahead of WrestleMania 41. So, looks like, I can't even remember the last thing we heard, but it looks like Cargill is actually injured and she's on her way back. So, I'm glad that, everything is sorted out. It's been so weird. We've heard she's not injured. She's working on, outside projects. Then she is injured. Then she's not injured. It's like, so I guess she is injured, I guess.
Never, dude. Next week it might come out. She's not injured, and she's still busy doing what dude. It's one of those Drew McIntyre situations from around this time last year of he signed. No, he didn't sign. He re-signed 4 months ago. He hasn't re-signed yet. It's one of those. We've heard it with Jade, dude. Like you just said, she's injured. She's not injured. She's working on side projects, and now we hear she's about to come back from an injury that they said she didn't have. So if she was injured, if she is injured, hope everything's going well, and it's good that she's going to be back soon. And who fucking knows, dude? Because no one knows. Ugh, good lord.
Well, according to PW Insider, Tyler Bate has now been cleared for a return to the ring. Bate is expected to be back within the next few weeks as a part of the Raw brand. Well, it looks like he will be going back with Pete Dunne, and whether they are a tag... Well, I'll tell you, if they're a tag team, we have tag team champions right now that I think they would have an absolutely amazing match with, and
That,
could possibly tell an amazing story with.
that sounds
Um,
like an amazing takeover match to me, and that just sounds great.
that's exactly what that sounds like. You know, I hope, whatever they do with Tyler Bate, I really just hope that it is worthwhile and that he is actually going to be used in a manner that we can all be proud of, because he is, again, I say it all the time, out of his group. Sure, Pete Dunne may be the most over. Tyler Bate is the better of the two. He far and
Yeah.
away.
He's so fucking good, dude. He has it
Yes,
all. That man is just a demon.
Tyler is so good, and I just really, really, really hope WWE eventually gets the hint to, for the love of God, use this guy, because he is way too good to have been doing what he was doing before, which was nothing. So, yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, so that's that. That's that. It looks like Tyler Bate is on his way back, and I am excited to see him back, and I am just hoping and praying that WWE actually uses him this time around.
Oh, I fucking hope so, man. Whether tag team singles, you still do need tag teams, and you really need to put more care in your tag team division because they finally got a pay-per-view match, and you gave them what, like 11 minutes, whatever it was. So you still need to work on that aspect, man. But he's coming back, and it's very good. And I hope when he comes back, they are treated very well as a tag team.
For sure, man. Well, speaking of somebody who I guess won't be coming back, Duke Hudson.
You kids?
Duke Hudson was released from WWE in January. After not appearing on live events since November, Duke Hudson was released from the company in January, and according to the Wrestling Observer Radio, it was reported that Triple H's decision to release Duke Hudson from his contract was because he did not see Duke as a main roster guy.
Mhm.
Wow. What do you
I
think?
mean,
What do you think about Triple H not seeing? What do you think about Duke Hudson being released, and what do you think about Duke not
I
being
mean,
seen as a guy that would swim on the main roster?
it's a very good thing that Triple H saw that and just didn't, keep someone in NXT forever, call him up and never use them. Like Logan says in the comments, fair enough. Per Triple H, that's a very fair and real thing to do. He's not lying to nobody. He's not gassing nobody up that he doesn't see like that. He didn't see him like that. So he let him go, man. And it's a respectable decision from Triple H, and it's a very honest answer, which is good to see. I'm sure it sucks to hear that for Mr. Duke Hudson. Um, I definitely maybe he's gonna go, on the Indies. Maybe he's gonna Matt Cardona himself. Wish him the best in whatever he may do, man. But I couldn't really have an opinion on him because I never watched fucking NXT or Chase U, even though I wanted Okada to join Chase U. But I digress. But never really watched NXT or himself, so I couldn't really give an opinion on the guy. But Tony Khan, Triple H is the one in charge over there, and that's how he saw things. So it's a fair enough decision, and I do really respect the honesty from Triple H and the honesty for the reason, man. So I wish Mr. Duke Hudson the best. Hope he can make a name for himself on the Indies, man, or whatever he wants to do next, and wish the best in everybody. But I'm glad it was a real and just honest ass answer, man. But what do you think about all this?
Um, yeah, I can respect, not keeping him around for the remainder of his contract and having him take up NXT television time and just hoarding him down in NXT, right? We see that a lot with, a guy like, Andre Chase, being that we're speaking of Chase U. Andre Chase to me is a guy that they've kept in NXT, and I just genuinely don't ever see a
Mhm.
future for him on the main roster. And
No.
it's good. And it's good that they, again, looked at Duke Hudson and were like, okay, he, got to about probably what would have been his peak in NXT. And, what do we want to do with him now? Do we want to keep him in NXT? Do we want to just keep him down there and take, take a spot? Or do we just let him go? And they chose to let him go. I know a lot of people that watch NXT. They like Duke Hudson, and whatever I've seen from Duke. He seems like a pretty versatile big man. He seems like a pretty
Mhm.
versatile big man. He can move. He could move around for his size, and I mean he's good. He's good from what I've seen, but they didn't see a future for him in the main roster. So again, um why Odyssey Jones the man and call him up and just keep
Mhm.
him there and do fuck all with them. So they decided to let him go. And yeah, I mean, in all honesty, dude, if I'm looking at, Duke Hudson, I myself don't really even see a spot where he could have fit on the main roster. I wish they would do stuff like this more with people on the main roster. And again,
Yeah.
if you're gonna call these guys up, again, for the longest time we said it with Odyssey Jones, just let him go. If you're not gonna fucking use the guy, just let him go. You know,
Yep. People like Fabian Eichner, who you fucking
yeah,
took away from a group, rebranded, buried, and then never used him again. Like, just let him do his own thing at that point.
guys like, or we just talked about another guy in Apollo Crews, and the same
Yeah,
thing with Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin ended up leaving. I think he left. I don't think he got released. No, he did get released.
he did get released, yes.
You're not gonna use him. And again, same thing with Apollo Crews, dude. This guy, Apollo Crews, has been in the WWE, been on the main roster for almost 10 years,
He's
and you've never
there.
used him. So it like
No.
don't. There's no point in doing stuff like that, man. There's absolutely no point in doing stuff like that. But um, that's what they did here with Duke Hudson, and I hope that they do this more. But as for Duke Hudson, again, from what I've seen from him, he seems pretty versatile and he can move around for his size, man. So, I hope he goes crazy on the indies, man, and I hope he does a good job for himself and makes a good career out of life after WWE, man. So good for him. Hopefully it ends up good for him, man. And I know being released from WWE probably really sucks, but I will say, the video that he put out of him talking to one side of himself, talking to the other side of himself, it seemed pretty good, man. So I hope he can do I hope he can have a pretty good career and do some good stuff on the indies.
I really hope he can. I wish the best for him.
Yeah. So that's that. That's that. And well, with one person getting released and another person getting signed, Jordan Grace. Jordan Grace has signed a 5-year deal with WWE, which obviously would bring her to 2030.
Wow, that's
That's
crazy.
crazy that
That's
that's
weird to
5 years
think.
away.
Oh man, yeah, I do not like the sound of that.
Fuck, we're getting old, dude.
My dude. God damn it.
As of her signing, the plan is for Grace to head to the NXT brand for at least the time being. WWE sources claim that Grace signed a main roster level deal.
Good.
I hope that's any
Good.
indication as to where she will be soon. How long do you think Jordan Grace is going to be in NXT, man? And how do you feel about her signing with the company, man? Do you think it was the right move?
I do think it was the right move. I think it was an amazing move from both sides, dude. I think she chose the right location, and I think they chose the right talent to sign, man. And the fact that it is a main roster level deal, or probably just deal in general, very much good for her. Obviously, we do know, obviously, from everything that she's going to be in NXT for at least a little bit. For how long? I either see till up till right after Mania or up till right after SummerSlam. I don't think she'll be there that very long. I just think the women's division is kind of busy in Triple H's eyes right now, so I'm sure he wants to wait a little bit. And I think by after SummerSlam, sometime after that, is when we see her on the main roster at the longest. At least that's what I'm hoping. So very great signing from both sides, man. So glad, and I can't wait for her to see her just fucking go crazy on the main roster, man. But I think it's around either after Mania or after SummerSlam, one of those two time frames for her to come to the main roster, man. And I'm excited, man. But what do you think about Jordan Grace signing? And like you asked me, man, when do you think we see her on the main roster?
Yeah, I mean, you could have asked me from the moment she came out in that 2024 Royal
Yeah,
Rumble, that she was going to WWE and everybody knew it. I think it was the right call, and I think WWE's happy to have her, and I think she's happy to go there. And it seems like everybody, at least so far, is taking well to Jordan Grace, and I mean, she's been great, and she's been a locker room leader in the TNA women's division. So coming over here, I'm sure as she builds equity in WWE, I'm sure that it's going to be no different for her over there. So I think obviously this is a great signing for WWE. And um, as for Grace going to NXT, personally, I wouldn't have done it. I would have thrown
yeah,
her right in that elimination chamber. But if you didn't want to have her lose or whatever, I do understand that. As for her being in NXT, I would not keep her in NXT long at all. I would build to a match. Personally, what I would do, I would build to a match with her and Julia at Stand and Deliver. I would have Grace lose and call Grace up because I just, again, I think she's that good, and I don't really think she needed NXT.
no,
But you know, a good thing out of this is she signed a main roster level deal. So I could
exactly.
very much see I could very much see her being I could very much see her being a uh
Post Mania.
I'm hoping a post Mania or a post SummerSlam if WWE
That's good
wanted to
too.
milk it. But
Yeah,
yeah, like I was saying, man, being that she did sign a main roster level deal, hopefully that means she's going to be on the main roster sooner rather than later. But like you said, personally, I would do post Mania. I don't know if WWE wants it to be that short. If that's the case, like I said, I could see post SummerSlam. But again, I would do post Mania. Um, but yeah, if they do end up putting the championship on her, I could see her at the very least being post SummerSlam. But regardless, I think we need to get Grace on the main roster sooner rather than later. So yeah.
definitely, most definitely.
Well, speaking of another woman in the NXT, not women's division really, but a woman in NXT, um, Ava,
Hmm.
Mrs. Simone Johnson, the Glazer's daughter. According to WrestleVotes on the Backstage Pass, creative has begun putting plans in motion for Ava to be featured more prominently on TV and have merchandise and character ties alluding to The Rock's final boss persona. Plans
She's gonna be the mini boss.
I guess. I guess the first boss, maybe. I don't know.
Exactly. First
Um,
level boss. I like it.
Plans conclude Ava playing off the final boss character on TV as a way to raise her importance. I'm left wondering if they're ever going to do anything with Ava. I would assume she's not going to be the NXT general manager for life. So I would assume she's. My guess is they put her in that general manager role the same reason they put Baron Corbin in a general manager role many, many, many years ago. My guess is they put her in that position to get her comfortable on the mic. And I would say
Like,
she's comfortable enough on the mic now.
yeah,
Um
she's fine now. She's normal on the mic.
at first, things may have been a little rocky, but I would say now, I would say she's pretty comfortable on the mic, but I'm left wondering when they're ever going to get her in the ring. But she's going to play off the final boss. I don't know if that means they're going to transition her into more of a heel role. But we shall wait and see. But then again, that couldn't necessarily mean that, because half the time the fucking Rock doesn't know what he wants to play. He doesn't know if he wants to be good guy PR Rock or if he wants to be the final boss like he was last year. And it was fucking phenomenal. But I mean, we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see, man. But yeah, I mean, I hope everything goes well, and hope that we see her eventually transition back over into being a in-ring talent.
Definitely, man. I think we'll see that, and I mean, she's gotten better, definitely, man. So it's good to see her make this transition, probably pretty soon. So good path for her, and obviously they're gonna focus on her. She's the fucking Rock's daughter, obviously. Um, and I wish her best to her. However, they or whatever they have, her character turn into, man.
Well, speaking of more women in NXT, Roxanne Perez. Here we are. According to Fightful Select, Roxanne Perez is expected for a main roster call-up sooner rather than later. One WWE main source spoken to said that Perez has been long ready for the main roster from a performance perspective. You think?
No fucking way.
She does have a match on Raw. She does have a match on Raw coming up, actually, against Raquel Rodriguez. She has an Elimination Chamber qualifying match, and I think WWE would be absolute buffoons to put Raquel in the match over Roxanne. So I think it's pretty safe to say Roxanne has a match for Elimination Chamber, and it looks like she's going to be in the chamber. And if it's anything like what we've seen in the Rumble, it's going to be fucking phenomenal, and she's going to be great on the main roster. She's literally been ready for the main roster for like 2 years, 3 years.
Really?
And I'm glad that she's coming up, man. Obviously they kept her in NXT for a long time, let her develop, and it sucked waiting, but I'm glad they let her develop, and I mean, she's been for a while, but she's going to be a superstar, man. She's going to be great in that women's division. She could be an early pick for a lot of people to win that Money in the Bank briefcase, man. So I'd be excited to see it, and I'm excited for her to come to the main roster.
Definitely, man. Very excited for her to come to the main roster. I think she will make it in the chamber, and I think it's going to be another great showcase in her call-up process, man. So I'm excited. I think she's going to do extremely well, in the chamber as, showcasing her talents. And I can't wait for her to be actually a mainstay as a main part of the main roster. I cannot wait. She is incredibly fucking talented, and it's about time.
Yeah, I mean, she could very well be, if WWE really I know a lot of people want EO, but if WWE really wanted to take a, different route with this whole thing, who's to say Roxanne doesn't win the, who's to say Roxanne can't win the Elimination Chamber? She could definitely be a favorite to win it, depending on what WWE wants to do with her. Because I know, Bayley wants to be Roxanne's first Mania match, but I mean, out of everything on Mania, why would you put a one-on-one match with Bayley and Roxanne Perez for nothing on the show?
Yeah.
That doesn't. I don't know how much space they have for Mania, but I don't envision that being a thing that they would do. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Rhea Ripley, man. Because there was a lot of options, going into, this year. I had brought up, or a lot of I had brought up Jordan Grace, maybe Jordan Grace and Rhea Ripley. A lot of people want Io and Ripley. Roxanne and Ripley is very well another route they could go, and they have a lot of great routes they can go with Rhea Ripley this year. None of them are bad. Even the match with Bianca Belair that was discussed. The only one that would be bad is Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley.
Oh
Again, I
dear.
think yeah, Charlotte and Tiffany is by far the way to go.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, man. I mean, that is the that's the news on Roxanne Perez, and it looks like she's going to be getting the Braun Breaker call up. I know last year, everybody was like, thinking Braun's going to come up after WrestleMania, but he ended up getting called up after the Royal Rumble, and obviously we see how everything worked out for him, which is obviously worked out great. So it looks like Roxanne is getting the post Rumble call up, man, which is awesome for her.
It's very awesome for her, and everything's she's gonna do great on the main roster no matter what.
Definitely. Speaking more women's division, Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss has signed a new 5-year deal with the WWE per Fightful Select. And Dean Mutati, or Mojo Rawley, as we all used to know him as, reportedly helped mend fences between WWE and Alexa Bliss during recent contract negotiations. He was the one who put it together when it was not looking like it would be put together. So he mended fences and got it put together in time for the Royal Rumble. So it went so far that the Royal Rumble was laid out, the whole thing was set up, and and to get her in, they had to take Shotzi out and fly Bliss to Indianapolis day of.
Man, thank God she made it into that match.
Oh, dude, she was in terms of surprise entrance. Alexa Bliss was the best part of the Women's Royal Rumble match.
Oh, easily the best surprise in that match. That shit was phenomenal. Genuine surprise. We literally joked about it in that fucking Friday's episode before that if we see Alexa, then the reports were bullshit. And which I don't think the reports were bullshit because, like this report said, it was rocky and then it was made happen. So that's good to see.
Yes, and if ever you are wondering why Mojo Rawley was the guy to put it together, Mojo Rawley is one of the founders of the Paragon Talent Group. So he manages Alexa Bliss, and he manages a bunch of other WWE talent, and he actually manages a bunch of AEW talent as well. Apparently, he put it together after seeing I guess what WWE was doing to, I guess, talents that were just representing themselves, and I guess he's seen an opportunity for them to be, for them to be represented better. So that's actually really fucking dope of Mojo Rawley or of Dean Mutati to do. That's actually really fucking dope, and that's really cool. I found that out earlier this week that he along with somebody else runs Paragon or founded Paragon, and that I always fucked with Mojo. I always thought he was fucking hilarious, but dude, that fucking SmackDown, bro, where he did he was doing commentary with Michael Cole and Triple H, goated,
That
bro.
hilarious.
No, but no, that's actually really dope of Mojo to do, and that's very cool that he took that step for the talent. So, and obviously we, brought to you guys last week that Alexa Bliss and WWE talks had kind of stopped. They fizzled out, and he put that together, and he put together the best moment, the best surprise in the Royal Rumble, other than Jordan Grace absolutely tweaking in the match. Alexa Bliss was the star of that match. Seeing her was awesome. So we can all thank Mojo for that, and that's why we fucks with Mojo, bro.
We definitely fuck with Mojo, dude. That's just really great that he has a talent agency that helps represent, wrestlers that don't have their own manager or probably their own lawyers or whatnot. Not everyone's the Roman Reigns level where you probably have your own set of lawyers and shit. It's good that you have group like that that manages guys and girls in the business that could help them make deals with said companies and whatnot. And good on him, dude. And good for getting that Alexa deal because that was damn near the pop of the night. In
Yep.
general, that was a crazy ass pop, and I'm glad to have her back. And I'm glad to see it, man. And I'm glad everything worked out the way it did.
Yeah, and again, um for all the time that he spent in WWE, he probably knows more than anybody how much unrepresented talent can almost be taken advantage of by WWE because again,
Yeah.
they don't have representation, and it's always when, when you're in that kind of business, whether it's pro sports or pro wrestling, man, it's always good to have a buffer between you and the company. Somebody to
Hmm.
relay things to you and lay out all the options. Because a lot of times, the company can present, one thing to you, and without that buffer, it's easy for you to make the wrong decision. So it's good. That's really dope of Mojo to start that talent agency. But as for Alexa Bliss, according to PW Insider, Alexa Bliss will now be headed to the SmackDown brand. The original plan several weeks ago saw a move to Monday Night Raw. Since then, the plans for that have changed, and she is now headed to SmackDown. So what do you see
Yeah.
her doing on SmackDown, and how do you feel about that move going down?
I was initially very shocked and excited for her to move to go to Raw because I was excited that she wasn't going to be involved in the Wyatt Six because, we talk about Guantanamo Bay. Wyatt Six is basically Polcatraz for those guys over there. And I just really hope Alexa doesn't get locked up with the rest of them. Again, I don't mind her joining the group. It's just they don't care about the group. So it'd
Yeah.
be a kind of a, you know, guilty by association thing with her. So hopefully all goes well whether she joins them or not. And I feel like she would join them. And I just hope that they just we talked about it earlier, but they need to just drop all the silhouettes and make them all people. And if they want Alexa to join her, they really got to lock into that now, man. But I wish her the best, and I think she is going to be involved in Wyatt Six stuff. And I just hope they don't put the ceiling on her like they did the rest of the group, man. But what about you? How do you think she's going to do on SmackDown, and what do you think she's going to do on SmackDown?
If you're speaking of this without the Wyatt Six, I think having I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Alexa Bliss versus Tiffany Stratton sounds more of an intriguing Mania match to me than
Oh,
Charlotte versus Tiffany Stratton. But
it really
obviously,
does.
we all know we're not getting that. And I honestly think the reason she's going to SmackDown is because, well, on top of the fact that SmackDown needs people,
They do.
the Wyatt Six are over there, and that is one thing that just scares me because she's gonna get entangled with the Wyatt Six, and I just hope Alexa Bliss is not treated to the regard of the Wyatt Six are treated at, because they are just completely unimportant, man. They are
Yep.
completely fucking unimportant, and it's a sad thing to see, because we all know how great they are, and it's a sad thing to see, but it's obviously one thing that scares me, man. Is, if the group was treated great, I would love to see Alexa Bliss,
Oh yeah.
you know, have ties with the group or be in the group, because Alexa Bliss's work with Bray Wyatt was tremendous, and obviously, I would love to see that, but the way they treat the group, it just really makes me it really makes me want to not see the group, so, or not see her with the group, because again, I don't want to see Alexa Bliss quarterly treated as a special attraction that should be treated as regulars so they can actually stand a chance. But yeah.
Definitely, man. Definitely. It's very rocky.
So yeah, that is the news on Alexa Bliss. And speaking of um people signing deals with WWE, Kevin Owens, according to Fightful Select, has re-signed with WWE. Owens' new contract with the company is a 5-year deal and kicked off the day of the Royal Rumble event on February 1st. And boy, did he fucking start with a bang.
Yeah, man, that shit was brutal. What a fucking first day on the new contract. Just get your head fucking caved in.
I'm so glad this wasn't plastered all over the news that Owens had a contract coming up because oh wait, no. It wasn't recently,
Was.
but it was a couple months ago because I remember okay, never mind. I was going to say I'm glad we were
Steen.
spared of that because now I do remember seeing Kevin Steen versus Eddie Kingston at Grand Slam
Oh,
Australia.
uh,
I
let's
remember
just
see I remember
compare
seeing
two big
every
guys together.
yeah, I remember seeing everybody make that graphic. This would go hard. Well, guys, Grand Slam
In
Australia ended
2021.
up being a dud. So,
Yeah, exactly. Went hard in 2021. Not nowadays.
yep, that's exactly what would have happened. But yeah, Owens is re-signed with has re-signed with WWE, man. And how do you feel about this? Do you think this is the right move for KO? And are you sad you're not going to get to see Kevin Owens versus Eddie Kingston in a street fight at Grand Slam Australia?
I am not sad because I would be sad for Kevin Owens if he were to do that, man. But now I'm happy for Kevin Owens. He signed a 5-year deal, man. Good for him. Off to a great story start with this under this new contract, man. And it's gonna be nothing of the best for these next 5 years. And good for him for signing. And I'm glad he did. I think he made the right choice for himself, man. And I think WWE made the right choice in re-signing him. So. I'm excited. I think he's going to do great, and it's going to be a good 5 years, man. But what about you? Do you think it was a good move from him? And are you bummed that we won't be seeing Kevin Steen over there in AEW?
I can't say I am, man. I can't say I'm bummed about that whatsoever. Um, yeah, it's always one of my favorite part about contract season is when people are blatantly going to resign, how much the AEW fan base believes that these people are
That
gonna come to their promotion and it's gonna be whatever
just
they
cinema.
say, yeah, cinema or whatever a bunch of bangers or whatever they say it's gonna be. I always love seeing AEW fans in those kind of scenarios because when it happens they get so mad and it's
And
hilarious.
they get so hyped for this person, hype them up like crazy. They don't sign, and then they just shit on them.
Oh,
Dude,
100%.
Drew
Every time.
Galloway, I'm so excited. Rebecca Quinn, Kevin, every one of them. It happened, and they just didn't sign, and it's just a slap in the goddamn face, and it's hilarious.
So Owens has re-signed with WWE, and no, I think everybody's happy to have Owens around. I think WWE's happy to have him around. The fans are certainly happy to have him around, and I think Owens himself is happy to be around. He's telling a great story. He's in the middle of a fantastic character, or he's in the middle of telling the story of a fantastic character, his character, his current character he's playing now. And yeah, I mean, I think that I think he's obviously going to do great, and Triple H loves him. He's a Triple H guy, so I think he's in good hands.
I think he is in good hands, man. I think he is.
Yes, and I would 100% take in Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes ladder match over the fantasized Kevin Steen versus Eddie Kingston
Oh,
street fight at Grand Slam Australia that they were spamming the graphic for months ago.
like, dude, out of all things, the fantasy book KO for in that company, because you could fantasy book some good stuff for him over there. That's what you come up with. Eddie Kingston, and I like Eddie, and I like, dude, that's the best you could come up with. Not mixing up with Kenny, Will Ospreay, the Bucks,
MJF,
fucking Eddie
Hangman.
Kingston, fucking Samoa Joe,
Ugh.
fucking Eddie Kingston, homie. What?
Yeah, so that is the news for Kevin Owens and him re-signing with the WWE, man. Kevin Owens is a guy who, throughout his whole tenure in WWE, has always kept his CFO theme song.
Yes, these
Who
lucky few.
he, man, and with that, there are a number of talent who had to change to the Def Rebel theme songs, and there are a number of talent who are frustrated with their Def Rebel theme songs. According to Fightful Select, several talent have expressed unhappiness with the quality of their theme music and have made
No,
attempts to go back to their previous songs.
I mean,
I
you had Cody Rhodes on the fucking scrum or on whatever it was, a little press conference for Royal Rumble, telling them they should bring back Sheamus' song, like homie, and they still didn't do it.
yeah, they still didn't do it, bruh. They still did not do it. Yeah, I mean, dude, this is just how many times have we reported that talent yet again is getting frustrated with Def Rebel because you would think after seeing all the reports that WWE's not going to be renewing with Def Rebel, you would fucking think they would step it up and they would start giving you some classics like they have for the likes of Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley. You would think, and they continue to just pump. I mean, that the most recent one, dude, that Judgment Day song. What in the
Or
blue
no,
hell is
that
that?
new that new Finn Balor, bro. What is that, bruh? That
Uh,
is just, or their fucking remix of Rebel Heart was just a fucking monster. That was just a disrespectful.
that was the peak of just oh my god.
Yeah,
Be
hell,
yourself, can be no one else.
it shit was garbage, man. I mean, Def
Gonna bet on myself. What
they
the
have a very few select good ones, but other than that, it's just the most and just it's just bad noise. It just hurts you. It's one of those you do this when the fucking song comes on because it's bad, man. It's bad. So it's very understandable why most people are frustrated and want their old theme songs back because we all want their old theme songs back and. I just can't wait for that contract to come up. Dude, fuck everybody else contract coming up. Fuck people moving. We need that Def Rebel contract coming up, dude. Please. Why don't they just release you release Duke Hudson? Can you release Def Rebel from their contract? Does it work like that? Can they just be released? Because holy shit, this needs to end
yeah, and fast. And really
fast.
fast because yeah, I mean it is just it is egregiously bad these theme songs, man, and it is yeah, they need somebody fresh. They need some young blood. They need somebody who is of the likes of Jim Johnston. Somebody again, he doesn't even have to be like Jim Johnson, but just somebody who has a creative approach to their music is all they need because at this point anything would be better than Def Rebel. And if you manage to be worse than Def Rebel, then you should not even be a music composer. But this whole thing started because as the New Day were making their way to the ring on Monday night, a lot of people noticed that if you have your captions turned on Netflix, as the New Day song was playing, you can see the captions New Day, New Way by Jim Johnston. And on Raw, the captions indicated that Jim Johnston was behind New Day's new entrance music, but their oh, good lord, I cannot read for the life of me today. Jim Johnston was behind the New Day's new entrance music as he put the song together with the vocals of Mega Ran.
Oh, I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Yes. And according to Fightful Select, Jim Johnston is not expected to be back with the WWE.
Yeah, I heard that was just a typo, or he wasn't involved in it. So that just sucks.
Yeah,
I, th- First of all, the production guy that fucked that up, he might have to get jumped because he just got the whole world's hopes up, and it's just devastating news. That's like hearing news that someone resigned and they didn't. It's like, come on, bro, you can't do that to me.
That would that
He's got to get jumped
that
because there's no way.
that would be like that would be like that would be like Tony Khan teasing all of us and saying that he let Keith Lee go out of his deal just to not let Keith Lee go out of his deal. That's what that would
That would
be.
like, dude, you can't do that to me. Please don't give me hope.
Yeah, and like I said, man, whatever um whatever the case is, again, I know Jim is kind of old, so it's, I mean, it'd basically be damn near impossible to get Jim Johnson back with WWE, but whatever the case is, Jim Johnston or somebody with the creative approach that Jim Johnson has is needed. Like I said, obviously we all know it can't be Jim, but if they could just find somebody that has a creative approach to
Hmm.
the music, then that seriously is all they need. I mean, because Def Rebel and and all the rumors of Def Rebel using like AI to make their music, I wholeheartedly I'm involved with that group. Okay, I am of the belief their music has to fucking be AI generated. They
It has
they
to
they
be.
most definitely type in, give me rap for a group named Judgment Day, and
Yep.
that's what came out.
That's what comes, dude. It is the most just, dude, you like, it's like inaudible. It sounds, it doesn't even sound like they're speaking a language in those songs because it's just jumble. It's literally, I always use the phrase, it's just a noise, but like literally that's all I hear with these Def Rebel themes. I don't hear lyrics. I don't hear none. I just hear noise. It's just, there's no distinction. Every Royal Rumble, it's just the most obvious thing that no one knows who the fuck anybody is because of these theme songs, and they just need to go, dude. By 2026, by 2026 Royal Rumble, I need recognizable just song pop-ups in that fucking match, dude. I need it. I need this shit to end.
Yes, even CFO could do it.
It was recognizable,
Yeah.
dude. Like, especially with their NXT themes, especially, you knew who the fuck that was. You said, "Oh shit, blah blah blah." That's their music. Boom, it hit. Like, dude, that's all. That's all I need is knowing who the fuck is coming out.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. I don't know, but they absolutely need to figure it out. They absolutely need to figure it out, man, because yeah, I mean um mm, yeah, I don't know. I don't know because this year I kept seeing videos this year of did you see the video of the in crowd reaction to Finn Balor coming out at the Royal Rumble?
Oh,
You could literally you could literally fucking hear people in the background saying, "Who the fuck is this?"
who the fuck is this? Bro, got him. Drop the
Ah,
contract. Do what you gotta do, man. Good.
yeah. I mean, I don't know, man, and it is just it's so funny to me, and it really goes to show how fucking bad this was. That because of a fucking typo, this sparked again more frustration behind talent that are frustrated with their Def Rebel theme song. This has gone on for far too long. And yeah, I don't know. WWE really got to put Jim Johnson in the Hall of Fame or something, dude, because again, the fact that we are again, man, the fact that this guy's been gone for WWE for years and people still continuously go back to his name of just music that people miss, it really goes to show how great of a music composer he was. And again, it's just funny to me that a typo sparked again another report of discourse of talent being frustrated with their Def Rebel theme songs. Again, the shit is AI generated. Country
Oh,
theme
dude.
song for hillbilly wrestler, and
Yep.
out came the AJ Styles rap music that
I
he
was gonna
came out
say
with. So
hillbilly rap. Boom. That's the fuck you came up with.
hillbilly rap, you don't want none for country wrestler, and
You
that's
don't
what
want
came out.
none. Oh, that was so bad, dude. And
Yeah,
dude,
but
their
speaking,
intros.
yeah, but speaking of the New Day, I think Mega Ran did a great job. I think he did a
I
great
think he
job. Their
did.
theme song sound, from what we've heard, it sounds pretty good.
It does. It does. It's a good song. I like it. He's good. And look what happens when you use people that aren't Def Rebel. It produces a solid song.
Definitely, man. But I know everybody got excited about the Jim Johnston hype, but unfortunately, Jim will not be back, which, as to be expected, to be honest, bro.
Yeah.
He's getting up
He's
there. He's getting up there. But again, like we say all the time, I'm sure there
anyone
are
can do it.
tons of music composers that are of that same mindset. So I'm sure they'll be
Just
okay.
I'm sure they could find somebody that could do that job and make everybody feel 10 times more special in that company.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So whatever it is, they got to get it together. Because again, we're hearing of Def Rebel frustrations, and I believe their contract is up sometime, in the next or sometime this year, and they need to cut it.
They do.
So jumping over to a little bit of the Vince McMahon case. Haven't heard this in a while. This actually came out the day of the Royal Rumble. There have been 2 names officially named in the Vince case as the amended complaint provides new evidence about the sexual abuse carried out by McMahon Laurinaitis in WWE, including McMahon offering Mrs. Grant to WWE superstar Brock Lesnar.
There it is.
There it is. So, well, this is one of the more obvious ones. I feel like everybody knew this was Brock, being how he was described in the original court documents of being
Yeah.
the ex WWE and UFC heavyweight champion that they had just re-signed. We all knew this was Brock, but now
Mhm.
he's being officially named as, again, WWE superstar Brock Lesnar for a sexual encounter during his formal negotiation of a new contract with WWE and McMahon ordered Miss Grant to send Lesnar sexually explicit content of herself. McMahon sent a text message to Miss Grant where he fantasizes in graphic details about watching a group of men surrounding her and leaving her physically wrecked, underscoring how he viewed her as a commodity to offer to others. A text message from McMahon to Mrs. Grant were made clear that only McMahon has the power to arrange Mrs. Grant's sexual encounters. An occasion where McMahon video recorded Miss Grant while nude for Laurinaitis without Mrs. Grant's knowledge or consent. And the last one is McMahon ordered Mrs. Grant oh Lord, I lost my. Okay, he ordered Mrs. Grant to make sexually explicit content for one Michael P.S. Hayes, which is another name now being named in this whole lawsuit. So we have 2 official names of Brock Lesnar and Michael P.S. Hayes.
Man.
Well, that probably seals the deal on Brock Lesnar coming back. And as for Michael Hayes, I know he recently went on a leave almost as if he knew something was coming. And I don't think he's come back from that leave, because I remember when he went on leave, it was until further notice, or he did not give them a date of him coming back. I don't believe, or at least I don't.
No,
Let me see.
I do kind of remember that. I remember it was very random, and this very well explains that. And as for Brock, I don't think we'll be seeing Brock anymore, or just he's not coming back, guys. He's not, and I can't blame WWE. You cannot blame them at all.
Yeah, the last thing we heard is that Bobby Roode has stepped into Michael Hayes' position. And yeah, it was reported in November that him and Bruce Pritchard are both on leave. So yeah, I mean that's the last thing we heard. That's the last thing we heard, and that very much well explains why Michael Hayes is took his leave from the WWE, because it's almost as if he may have knew what was to come. And yeah, he was one of the names, man. So we probably won't be seeing him back. We probably won't be seeing him back either. So
No,
yeah, and if that's the case, then they can both stay away. I think everybody can be in agreement to that. But yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, so that's the latest on the Vince case, and now looking good as more names
No,
continue to be revealed.
exactly.
Next up, man, the WWE here we go. According to WrestleVotes on the Backstage Pass, the WWE and the NFL have collaborated on a custom WWE Championship for the Super Bowl this Sunday. There is internal speculation that WWE will make an announcement about an announcement sometime this weekend regarding the city of New Orleans, Louisiana.
Dude, please just let it be like a SummerSlam or some shit, dude. I really let do a Rumble there or something, because I really don't want Mania to be there, but that's the way it's looking, man, and that's just unfortunate. I really hope it doesn't go to New Orleans again.
Me neither, dude. I'm really hoping it does not go to New Orleans, and my God, do I think it will be in New Orleans. I think
Yeah,
I have a feeling. I have a feeling that this will end up being the Mania 42 announcement. Being that typically wherever WWE likes to hold their WrestleMania kickoff event is where they end up doing Mania the next year. At least, if we're looking at this past year, the Mania kickoff was obviously held in Vegas. Mania took place in Philly, but then the next year they came back and did Mania in Vegas. And if they're doing a Mania kickoff event for New Orleans, I could very well see New Orleans getting Mania next year, unless they just announce the Mania kickoff press
I could
conference.
just I could do a Mania kickoff press conference, or maybe it's a different pay-per-view. You never know, but I just really hope it's not Mania, dude. But it's probably gonna be Mania.
If I'm a betting man, I'm gonna go ahead and say they announce a
And
kickoff event. And they also announced WrestleMania coming to New Orleans to, I guess, ride the hype of Super Bowl being in New Orleans. So just such
I
a
just hope.
repetitive city, dude. You could go anywhere, bro. You could go anywhere and you go back to New Orleans. To me, it's a bit of a weak move, man. I would have held it somewhere else personally. But WWE is going to do what they feel is right. So it is what it is.
Yeah, WWE, they're gonna make the money moves, and if this is the money move, they're gonna make it, and it gotta be Swamp Theme. You can't do anything else. This one gotta be Swamp Theme, and you gotta go crazy. That's the year you gotta put fucking Wyatt in the Hall of Fame and everything. You gotta do that shit or something, because there's no way.
Yeah, yeah. A Bayou Swamp theme would be pretty cool, being that they already did Mardi Gras.
They
And
did
the
exactly.
first one is more, I guess, WrestleMania 30 themed. It didn't really
Yeah.
have much of a theme, I would say. But they did Mardi Gras. You can't really do Mardi Gras again, and you also
What,
do have big expectations because of the stage. The stage for
uh,
34 was dope, so
it was.
you gotta
You gotta
match
go
that
for it.
level. I also
What's
don't I also don't like an indoor mania, dude. I don't fuck with indoor manias, bro.
we definitely, I think, occasionally if you had an indoor mania a couple of years ago, it was lamer, but it was okay because it was still big. But most shows are around damn near mania size anyway, so the kind of damn near the alert of mania at this point is, outside. You see the sky during half the show, all that. So an indoor mania in the current fucking state of WWE just doesn't sound like the moves to me, man. But what sports team colors are in New Orleans?
Black and gold.
Oh, god damn it, they already did that. Fucking man. You're out of ideas for New Orleans
Yeah,
already.
cause they did the Saints. The Saints are black and gold. The Pelicans are like navy and red.
Mm.
Um,
And I feel
literally,
like they got so many other places they could do, red and blue and white. So
yeah, they could do a black and gold.
they could do it. Yeah, they could. But man, it's just, it's
Yeah, I mean,
it's
they
just
they
a dried
could.
up place. It's just a dried up market for WrestleMania, dude.
It
No one
is.
wants to see it.
Yeah, it is, to be honest, man. Yo, my man Lonnie,
What's,
what up, bro? Thank you for
what's up,
joining
man? How
us.
you doing? Truly,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. I mean, being that it is the spot where Wyatt had his first Mania match in New Orleans at Mania 30, I think that would be a good time to put Wyatt in the Hall of Fame, personally.
I think
But
so. I think that's the perfect spot. That's the only positive about it.
yeah, but um, yeah, I don't um.
That's a
Honestly, bro, for Mania, I don't really think the for at least for me the echo the echoes in the arena for Mania don't really. I feel like for Mania, I feel like the sound always just goes up.
yeah, and I think just they already got good loud crowds nowadays, so crowd sound isn't really something you got to really worry about unless you get a really bad
Unless you're
arena.
in Tropicana Field.
Exactly. It's more just about the atmosphere of the fans and the big crowd shots and the stage around them, and that's really the allure for Mania. So I really don't think you got to worry about sound. It's kind of modern day WWE. People are gonna make noise. It's not fucking 2018 where no one gives a fuck at Mania, even still. But so it's an uncreative market for Mania if they're going to New Orleans, and they're really gonna have to try if they want to put Mania in New Orleans again.
Yeah, and two, I'm sure a lot of people that end up traveling to the shows are probably like, "Oh, got to go to New
Yeah,
Orleans again." If you do go to Mania every year, I'm sure that's something that you're probably like, "Oh, we already went there." But I would, if I was one of them, I would like to go to a new market personally. But
I would
um,
definitely.
I just hope they choose a cool theme, and they already did
I
Mardi
hope
Gras, so I'm interested to see what the hell they would do for the next one. I would probably go some sort of like swamp theme
I
personally.
would, I
Um,
would definitely do that. But just
like an alligator, maybe could be
alligator like
cool.
vines like hanging off the Mania sign, like it's like got risen out of the swamp or something. Like you could do
Could
some
be
cool
cool.
stuff. But yeah,
Could be cool. Hopefully they capitalize on it, but we'll see. But it looks like WWE will be announcing something at the Super Bowl as pertains to the city of New Orleans, and yeah, should be interesting. And obviously, we're all going to be keeping our eye on that, as well as the Not Like Us performance that we will be seeing at that Super Bowl show. So,
that's that's what I care about, man. I
s-
need the whole crowd yelling the line.
um, speaking of WrestleMania 41 this year. WrestleMania 41 will reportedly be expected to start at 3 p.m. Pacific,
Hmm.
11 p.m. GMT on April 19th. NXT Stand and Deliver will start at 12 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. GMT, um, meaning that there is a little time between the events. Yeah, no kidding.
Oh
Um,
shit, that's fucking back to back. Poor fucking production.
yeah,
Fuck.
yeah, a 3 hour Mania. So by the time Takeover or Stand and Deliver starts, Mania will start 3 hours later. Which for
Oh,
us sounds fucking awesome because that means WrestleMania starts at 5 o'clock. I love the WWE's doing Elimination Chamber at 6 o'clock, and that bummed me out. I love
man,
when their shows start at 5 o'clock. I love it.
5 o'clock as the start time is so nice, man. You get a night, the sun's setting while the stove's starting. It's just a good time to start the fucking show, dude. You're not up too late. You're not fucking. The show doesn't end at a fucking 11:30 like Revolution's probably gonna end, and you just get to really just enjoy the whole day, man. So I like that a lot, and I like the start time. It kind of sucks for NXT because. I mean, they're really gonna have to rush through that show, so I kind of feel bad for all the people on that show because you probably can't just start going crazy just in case, you go over. So that
Yeah.
kind of sucks for them. But good start for Mania. Good start time for Mania. I love the 5 o'clock start time, man.
I'm just very interested to see. I'm very interested to see. So they say the show is expected to start at 5 p.m. Central. Is that the pre-show or is that the main card? Because I'm
Oh,
I'm I'm
main
interested. I
card.
hope it's the main card. I really hope so because being the time gap between Mania and Stand and Deliver, um, are is there time for a pre-show? I don't know. I
Are you Uh, are you gonna do a 2 hour, 1 hour pre-show, 30-minute pre-show? I mean, at the end of the day, it's a pre-show. You don't need to fucking go crazy with it, in my opinion. I
Yeah,
mean, it's Mania. You don't need to fucking get people to watch it an hour before the show. So, I don't know, man, but it's very interesting to see how they're gonna do it. I just hope the main show does start at 5 o'clock, man, because that's just a much better start time for me, man.
I love the 5 o'clock start times. I really do because it presents an opportunity for WWE where if they want to go longer, you can
Go
go
as long as you
longer,
want.
and then guess what? It's only 9 o'clock. Only what 9:30,
10 o'clock.
maybe 10.
Just nice and easy. You don't have to start at fucking 7 and end it at 12:30 and shit. And
Oh
it's just much better starting at 5, dude.
yeah, yeah, because again, it presents like you were saying. If you go over, you're not, if you do want to go over time, you're not, dumping into the next day. You know what I mean?
Literally.
So, yeah, you're still again out at a reasonable time, you're out at 10:30, whatever the case is, you're out. So, yeah, I mean that's
Um, sure the businesses around Mania love that too. There are these earlier start and end times because it leaves the fans to, maybe leave the arena, hit restaurants, hit bars. I'm sure
yep,
the surrounding businesses love that earlier start time.
exactly. Exactly. Because again, like you were saying, businesses that I mean, Vegas probably won't really have that problem. Everything stays
Yeah,
open late in
it's fucking
Vegas.
big.
But if you do go anywhere else, I'm. That's a great point. I'm sure businesses do love, being able to be open when people get out of the show because it's 10 o'clock or whatever, and yeah, it's a hell of a
Um,
lot better than. I mean, the only thing open in any other city is probably just bars.
bars.
So
And now you'll have restaurants, which I feel bad for the workers and patrons at the restaurants because you got fucking smelly ass wrestling fans coming in. But
fuck.
for the money aspect, it's probably great. For the nostril aspect, it's probably insufferable, man. But you gotta everything gotta have its dark side, man. And with business comes wrestling fans, comes the smell. So there's definitely a good side to it with the money for them. So I think this earlier start time is best.
For sure. So, um, moving on to a different WWE Premium Live event. According to WrestleVotes on the Backstage Pass, WWE have had discussions of hosting this year's Money in the Bank Premium Live event from an international location in early July. So it looks like Money in the Bank will be taking place in the same time frame, early July, And last year they did it in Toronto, and the year before that they did it in London. So I fully expect for them to go out of the United States again. And at this point this should be a no-brainer. All those summer shows should be outside of the US, no problem.
Exactly. Fans love it. US fans even love it. It's the fucking way to go, dude. I love the international shows. Backlash, we still don't know where that may be, whether it's in Mexico or not. Maybe if that one's not in Mexico, maybe you could put Money in the Bank in Mexico. That's a very, hot market that's really people want for a show. So you got options, and wherever they go, it's gonna hit, man. So I'm excited.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So if you think about the last time WWE was in for if you think about the last time WWE was in for um Toronto, that was when John Cena announced his retirement, man. And speaking of John Cena, oh god, I look complete. Okay, here we go. Good lord. Okay, speaking of John Cena, according to The Observer, they're reporting WWE's plan for John Cena is to face Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship in the main event of WrestleMania 41. And that has been locked in since October of 2024. Rhodes versus Cena, with Cena winning the Elimination Chamber, was the plan as of October for one of the main events. With the story of Cena going for the record 17th World Championship. Whoa.
That's very interesting, man.
That's huge.
That's very massive.
How do you feel about everything regarding that, man? How do you feel about Cena and Rhodes as I'm assuming the night 2 main event of WrestleMania? How do you feel about Cena going into that Elimination Chamber and winning that match?
I think it's the obvious plan. I think it's what most people assume. I'm glad it's been planned for a while, and I mean, good on them for having that plan set in stone. I guess that means they probably found out in October that Rock will not be available for WrestleMania, and
Sorry, Dave.
you sorry, yeah,
My bad,
okay.
bro.
We were shitting on you,
I was
dog.
playing. I was playing, dog.
You're cool, bro. You're cool. We could read your articles, no problem. But it's just it's good to see and it's crazy to see and it's gonna be massive, dude. And personally, I would probably have Cena lose and go again at SummerSlam, but I don't know with Gunther facing Jay and Jay probably winning. I don't know if they want, the two main baby faces to, win at WrestleMania and get their moment. Maybe they only want one. Maybe they want Jay save, Cena for SummerSlam. Maybe it's the reverse. I really don't know because having the two world titles changing hands that night is, you know, never know. That can happen, that cannot. Personally, I would probably have Cena wait. Or if you do have Cena win, you have been teasing a different side of Cody, so maybe that nudges Cody forward in that side. You never know. You could do a lot this summer with all that. So you could just do a lot in general. Personally, I would save Cena. But again, I would have saved him for Gunther at SummerSlam. Gunther's probably not going to be that champion come SummerSlam. It's probably going to be Jey Uso still. So maybe they are going to pull the trigger with Cody, and do that. I don't know what the result is at Mania at this point because when I tell you Jay just shifted the tracks of everything after the Royal Rumble, he fucking did, man. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm excited and I'm glad this was the plan and good for John, dude. It's going to be massive and man, it's gonna be one sad year. It's gonna be a great year, but it's gonna be a fucking sad year, man. But what do you think about all this?
Yeah, so Cena going on to win the Elimination Chamber main event, WrestleMania with Cody Rhodes. I honestly think that Cody needs to. I think Cody wins that. I personally would not have Cena win because right there in April, you're throwing away a story that I think could at least be dragged out to August. you know,
Yeah.
so I would tell the story. I would rather them tell the story over 8 months rather than 4, being that we have a whole year to do this. We have a whole year to do this thing with Cena. I would have him lose to Cody personally, if that is the plan. That's what I would do. I would then have Cena again go on and build his way back up to a championship match. Maybe he goes and builds himself up to a championship match with the idea that he's going to go after Cody. But thinking if Gunther is still the world champion, which again, if Gunther loses, then this throws everything out of whack for me. And
Thing.
my idea, I would have Gunther somewhere along the lines of that thing make a remark to Cena that Cena's a failure or he's never going to get a world championship. And I would have Cena turn around and say, whoa, well, hold on. You have a world championship. So how about I shut you up and go after your world title? I would maybe do something like that. I wouldn't have him beat Cody. I would have Drew win King of the Ring and beat Cody at SummerSlam. And yeah, and I would have John. I would have John. Maybe John even loses at SummerSlam and then maybe gets crowned at Clash in Paris or something like that. But I would not, do this. I would not blow through the Cena story at Mania. I would. Yeah, I mean, it's tricky though, because if Gunther is not the world champion and you have champions of Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes, Cody's reserved for Drew McIntyre for me, personally.
He has to be.
I think Drew wins King of the Ring. I think we see King McIntyre, and I think he beats Cody at SummerSlam, especially if you got this fucking guy going against Damian Priest at WrestleMania. You need to reward him that same year with a world title. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts. If Jay is the world champ, then I don't know.
Punk can beat Jay for it, and you do Punk and Cena for that at SummerSlam, but which I have seen, dude, it's so fucking rocky with Jay winning.
Unless they have Cena beat Cody and they have McIntyre dethrone Cena at Mania.
To be honest, if I'm gonna be honest with you, that's kind of what I see happening at this point. I think that's an early prediction for Mania, but I do think John might beat Cody at this point. I really do, because with Jay winning, it just it knocked everything out of whack, dude.
It really did, dude.
I do think I still think Drew is gonna go on and become it at SummerSlam. I do think he will. God, he needs to after this after what we'll talk about at the end of the show with him. But I think he might beat Cody, dude. They've been teasing a different side of Cody. Maybe that's a big push into the different side of Cody. Maybe who knows what they want to do, man. And Jay just threw everything out of whack, dude. So I don't fucking know.
Yeah, because if you could have had Gunther in a triple threat with Punk and Rollins, being that Rollins wants to stop Punk from getting a world title. He also wants his world title back. Punk's been trying to get to Gunther for a while. It makes sense. And it would have been a big marquee match for Gunther at WrestleMania. And it also, because of Rollins' obsession with Punk, he could have almost, cost both of them the match at Mania, which obviously would have led to Gunther retaining, which would have opened up Gunther perfectly for John Cena at SummerSlam or at a show further in the fall. And, with Jay winning, it's going to be a great WrestleMania moment, but it does, throw a lot of confusion in there for me because I don't know. And who's to say they don't hip hop the title right back off of Jay? Because I'm sorry, Jay can't be champion the whole summer, man.
It won't work.
I don't, other than, again, other than business wise, and obviously that's going to be great for business. Creatively, I don't see that going well. If you do have Jay hold that title for the remainder of the summer or majority of the summer, again, business wise, that's a great move. Creatively, I don't. That is not.
Not gonna
He's
move.
not a sustainable world champion. That's
He's not.
just.
I'm sorry.
Again, it's going to be a
And
great moment. Yeet Mania is going to be a great moment, but after that, now
it's
where do
not.
we go?
It's also not even him. So WWE can be rocky with these babyface champions, especially at first. I mean, they weren't doing fucking well with Cody at first as a babyface champion. You think they're gonna do fucking phenomenal with Jay as champ? Man, it's gonna be rough. I'm telling you.
I don't know. Obviously, there's so many ways you can go with this. Again, are we dead ass looking at the possibility of Cena beating Cody? I don't know. I don't know, man. But that is that. And the Observer is also reporting with 36 dates on Cena's WWE contract for 2025. He will only have done 3 in the first 2 months, leaving him with 33 in the last 43 weeks of the year. This means he will be almost a regular weekly character when he's done filming the movie that he is currently filming.
Okay, he's about to grind it out. That last stretch, he's about to go crazy, dude.
Yes,
Summer is about to be the summer of Cena.
it is. It is. And it looks like there will only be about 10 weeks for the remainder of the year that he won't be on the show. So
Mm.
it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see. And yeah, I think we're all excited for the Cena Farewell Tour, and I think it's going to be awesome. Speaking of the Cena Farewell Tour, WWE is planning a massive send-off event for John Cena's retirement. According to Bill Bahidi on the Dirt Sheets Informer podcast, WWE is planning a premium live event in December at the TD Garden in Boston, with the TD Garden in Boston being the front runner for the location. We have learned that en route to setting up an additional PLE in the month of December, they are targeting the TD Garden as the venue, which, as you guys know, is Boston, which I believe they will be setting up that show as Cena's farewell. It was heavily discussed during the holiday tour, which WWE does every year, that they would coincide with a PLE. So as opposed to this year, this year's tour where the main show takes place in Madison Square Garden. And by the way, I'm ruling out Madison Square Garden as the place this happens as the final stop on the holiday tour. It would appear to be December 27th, Saturday. Bahidi continued, being that the name being thrown around for John Cena's send-off is the name of the pay-per-view being called Ruthless Aggression.
Ooh. I fuck with it, dude. That's a good ass pay-per-view name.
That is awesome. As for WWE going and having a pay-per-view in December, I honestly don't like that. I honestly like the gap between Survivor Series and Royal Rumble, and I mean, you've thrown your Saturday night's main event in there, so I don't even know why that would be necessary in the first place. But obviously this year it makes sense, being that as a yearly thing, I would say no, but obviously
No,
this year that sounds
the tribute
fantastic,
show.
and that would be a fantastic tribute show to John Cena. You could have you could do a bunch of video packages with some of his greatest rivals. um obviously all culminating with his last match, whoever that shall be against. But yeah, man, I mean, that's very interesting, man. That is very interesting, and that is cool to hear that WWE is giving him the ultimate send off in that regard. So yeah.
Definitely, man. I think it's what we all assumed when we heard the news of what his like send-off year would look like, where it wasn't ending at Mania and just at the end of the year. I think that's what most people assumed it was gonna be, a kind of a tribute pay-per-view dedicated to him. So very glad we're getting that, and I love the name, Ruthless Aggression for the name. That's just, even without the context, obviously that history behind that being the name, that's just a fire-ass pay-per-view name. So love it. Love the sound of it, and I think it's gonna be awesome, dude, and that's gonna be one sad fucking night. I'll tell you that.
Yes, it is. It is going to be very sad, and you can obviously catch us on the review here. I'm sure we will be doing a review for that show.
Oh yeah.
Um,
You cannot review not review that.
okay, I don't know what's going on today, dude, but Cedric Alexander is released from his WWE contract.
Oh man, what? Oh,
Does he hurt people?
I think he hurts people. Ooh.
I could very well see that being the case. Damn.
Mhm.
Best of luck to Cedric. I know Cedric's gonna be okay though, man. Cedric is fucking amazing at what he does. So
He is.
he could very well go on to be hurting people very soon. I could very well see that being the case.
Oh, I think so, dude. I think that's the obvious. I think he has a pretty obvious opportunity in front of him, and I think it's going to be a very great one because, plus, he's one of those more in-ring guys than promo guys. I think he'll be good over there in that group.
But Big Swole did have her problems with AEW, so would that stop Cedric from going to AEW? Could be.
Yeah, it could, but from what we've seen with Tony Khan, he really does like the Hurt Business
Yeah.
or Hurt Syndicate, and he likes all those guys individually and like to do business with them.
Mm.
I think it might work out still. I think
It
it might.
could. It could.
I think it might.
According to PW Insider, Roman Reigns versus CM Punk versus Seth Rollins is the
Hmm.
current plan for WrestleMania 41 in April.
Man,
How are you feeling about this, man? What is your... How you feeling, man? Talk to me. Are you fucking with this match, dude?
no, I'm not. I'm sorry. It could be. It would be a great and very interesting triple threat if Roman wasn't supposed to face Drew. That's the killer in this. If it wasn't, if Mania didn't need Drew versus Roman, which what should be the path at Mania, obviously, I'd be cool with this. That sounds fire. That sounds very interesting. But to me, it sounds like we're going in a great direction, and we kind of got to take the trail along that road and not take that great road, man. So I'm a little disappointed. On paper, this should be insane, but in the situation and the path for Mania, disappointing for me, man. I would much rather have Drew versus Roman and Seth, Punk and Gunther, or just Seth and Punk at that point, man. So that's my thoughts. What about you? What do you think of this possible WrestleMania match?
Um, y- honestly, I think the match is going to be great. Obviously, the match is
Yeah.
going to be great. It's Roman, Seth, and Punk. The thing for me, again, like you said, man, is what they have for McIntyre is just completely ridiculous, being that this is what you're doing with Roman. Um, there's a lot of stories I feel in this match that are going to be untouched because if you think about the ways you can take this match, let's say Punk pins Seth. Okay, Punk settled his problems with Seth. What about Seth and Roman? What about
Hmm.
Punk and Roman? So there's a lot of ways they can go, being that there's nothing on the line here. And this is just going to be a triple threat match. And again, you put Roman in this, yet left McIntyre with Priest.
Oh,
That is
fuck.
horrendous. That is absolutely horrendous for Mania. And that is just, again, why you should have brought Drew McIntyre back to have a beef with Damian Priest then, and not the
Yeah.
Bloodline, because the fact that you almost made him, this Bloodline, this Bloodline hunter, if you will, had him, set his sights on the Bloodline, and then at Mania he gets Priest. He
It,
should have, man.
uh,
Mania should have been Roman and Drew, and then
mhm.
a separate match with Punk and Rollins. I mean, I would have went Punk,
Exactly.
Rollins, and Gunther, but I've said that ad nauseum. Nobody wants to hear that
Exactly.
anymore. We've said that ad nauseum. I got my point across. But
Exactly. Post
if
Jey Uso in, that's what I would have done.
if this was what you were dealing with, how the fuck did you do how did you not do Roman and Drew?
Oh, I don't fucking know, dude. God damn.
I don't get it. I don't get it. And apparently, according to the Observer, WWE ran the Seth Rollins curb stomp injury to write Roman out of the Elimination Chamber since he wasn't winning and would have had to take a pin. Understandable.
That makes sense. I wouldn't expect him to take a pin. No, it's fucking
Yeah.
Roman Reigns still. I mean,
Yeah.
not that Roman's not gonna be willing to take a pin, but in his current character, it doesn't. It's not the time yet.
Yeah, and obviously, I mean, it does make sense for him to come back with, a little bit of fire or a little bit of heat on Seth, being what Seth did to him. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. So that again, I'm not really messing with this triple threat. It's going to be a great match, but it's obviously going to be a great match. But I mean, you're leaving a lot of unfulfilled routes with this triple threat match. And again, you did Roman you did Drew how you did Drew, and this is what you're doing with Roman. Little doesn't make a lot of sense to me, man. But that leads us all to our final story for today. The man himself, Drew McIntyre. What went wrong with Drew McIntyre at the Royal Rumble, man? Well, according to PW Insider, something went wrong with Drew McIntyre's elimination from the Royal Rumble. When McIntyre returned backstage, he was screaming and cursing that someone had to get their moves in at the expense of a number of stories in the match. McIntyre loudly stormed out of the stadium and was gone before the match concluded. The Observer then reported that there is a talent that people were pissed at in the Men's Royal Rumble match with the idea that he was trying to get himself over and not the actual match. Drew McIntyre was not the only unhappy talent with the situation. Fightful Select would then go on to report the talent that everyone was frustrated with in the Royal Rumble match was LA Knight. Originally, Damian Priest was set to eliminate Drew McIntyre before Logan Paul's entrance, which everything got messed up, and this was the guy Drew McIntyre was talking about as the guy that had to get his moves in. The feeling amongst those amongst those spoken to is that McIntyre may have been upset that LA Knight's errant movement killed the drama and momentum of the spot, taking something that was meant to be a big moment and rendering it into something that just sort of happened into a clunky manner, losing the moment that was meant to spark the Priest McIntyre story. One source downplayed the situation, saying that the company can always tweak things in post-production, but acknowledged McIntyre's anger afterwards. Well, just speaking on the Royal Rumble situation, man, I can say LA Knight did sort of stumble back, which Priest did, bump into him, and obviously they were pissed, and apparently Priest was supposed to, dump him over before Logan Paul even came out. I don't know how that doesn't fall on Priest, being that
Yeah,
he
he missed his spot.
you're mad at LA Knight. I can say this. Maybe if LA Knight didn't have to wait 30 fucking seconds while Logan Paul took his headband off and smiled at the hard cam, maybe if he didn't have to wait all that time, then he probably would have got his little spot with Logan Paul over with at that time. But LA Knight did stumble back. I don't think LA Knight did it on purpose. I could see
No.
why Drew was mad in the moment, though. I could see why
Yeah,
he's mad
I
in the
get that.
moment. And I'll say, if LA Knight faces any sort of consequences for this, I think there's a lot of people that should be at fault, not just LA Knight. Not,
No,
not
it's just an
just,
everybody thing.
yeah.
And
So,
What about the fault of, I don't know, the producer of the Royal Rumble match to produce that happening in the first place in that manner? What, like, excuse me? And
Yeah.
it's kind of just a fucked up mix. Logan Paul was taking a while. LA Knight stumbled back. Damian Priest missed his spot. It's a frustrating thing. I'd be frustrated too. I understand Drew's frustration, and it's just kind of a mix of everything, kind of just fucked up in that moment.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, dude. But this ended up turning out to be the least of everybody's concern as to what happened in the Royal Rumble, because it is being reported. It is being reported per Mail Sport that Drew McIntyre is due for a program with Damian Priest heading into WrestleMania, a bout that has been described as a nothing match. McIntyre is of the opinion he deserves a more prominent feud and prominent match going into WrestleMania 41 after the most successful year of his career in
Yeah,
2024.
no
How are
way.
you feeling about Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre, and how are you feeling? Oh, well, it is worth also noting Chris Featherstone did report Drew McIntyre's frustrations have cooled off and things are moving forward, WWE sources have informed him. How are
And
you
it
feeling
better.
about
Hmm.
this feud and match for Drew McIntyre going into WrestleMania, man, being against Damian Priest?
In a nothing match. I think it's a slap in the face to Drew. He literally, like he said, had a career year in 2024, carried the year. I mean, he was my fucking male wrestler of the year, yours, our fan vote. And it's just one of those things of how do you not have him do something bigger at WrestleMania? Now, he's cooled off now. I'm sure that better be because he was told he's going to be king in the ring. That better be why he cooled off. And I would be frustrated too because as a fan, I'm frustrated. That is not how you treat Drew McIntyre for a nothing match. And I think it is disrespectful and a slap in the face, man. So I hope after Mania he can get, the summer kind of dedicated to him and his story going into SummerSlam, man. But I definitely understand his frustrations and I hope it fucking, he has to be the King of the Ring 2025, man, because that's your only way out of this, man. But I definitely understand his frustrations and his anger. And as a fan, I feel the same way, man. But what about you? What do you think of this Drew McIntyre situation? How do you feel about it?
You know, we were talking about it a little bit on Monday, man, but this, like I said, you did what you did. You're moving forward, I guess, at least the rumor with the idea of Punk, Rollins, and Roman. I don't know how the hell you make that match and do not say to yourself, "Wait a minute. Why don't we do Drew versus McIntyre?" Well, what are we going to do with Drew if he's not going to face Roman? I got it. He's going to face Damian Priest. What the fuck is even that? That is not. Talk about not a Mania match.
Literally.
McIntyre and Priest is the most nothing match. I mean, it's described here as a nothing match, and that is exactly what it
Literally.
is. It's a nothing match. Who cares to see that at WrestleMania? And obviously, as the reports are saying, Drew McIntyre cooled off. The reason he cooled off is because he better have been told that he is winning King of the Ring in 2025, because other than that, I would not be cooled off, because that fucking sucks as a WrestleMania direction for the guy who had Rivalry of the Year, he was Superstar of the Year, and he had Match of the Year last year. To
Mm-hmm.
move on to this WrestleMania to get Damian Priest, even though you brought him back as hunting the bloodline? The last time I checked, Damian Priest wasn't a fucking Samoan. He's
Well,
Puerto Rican, and his name isn't Roman Reigns. Why was he even in the conversation for Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania? Absolute slap in the face. And people are saying, well, they got a story. Drew McIntyre was cashed in on by Damian Priest. I see what you're saying. That's not a
But
Mania story.
and like again, like I said, I think back on Monday, you could put anyone in Priest spot and it would have been the exact same. It wasn't about Priest, it was about Punk and the situation in general. It wasn't like that's who to put his anger on. Obviously you can put it on Priest for a story, but like the anger was on Punk. That was the point of that moment.
Even building up to Clash in the Castle, Priest was
Yeah.
just the beneficiary of
Of
Punk and
Punk's
Drew.
exactly. That it had nothing to do with. Again, you could have slotted anybody else in Damian Priest spot. It would have been the exact same, if not better, if you had like an LA Knight in there. But hey, that's just me.
And since then, Drew is being slotted on SmackDown, and he has officially moved over to SmackDown in the transfer window. So, to obviously make it any more evident where McIntyre is headed for WrestleMania, it looks more and more like Damian Priest, man. So, that is that. And that is everything here today on this episode of News, man. Man, we went the long haul today, but thank you guys so much for joining us on another edition of the news. This has been episode 252, and thank you guys so very much for joining us here today. Yeah, that is going to do it, man, as it has been always a pleasure for my Johnny,
Nice, okay.
and that is going to do it for this edition of the news, another edition of the Notorious podcast. This has been episode 252. Thank you to everybody who joined us in the live chat. Logan and my man Lonnie. Thank you to everybody a part of the Replay Mafia. My guys JT and JB. And that is going to do it for this edition of NHP. Thank you guys so very much for joining us. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And with that, we will see you all on Monday with NHP Unscripted.
Peace.